The U.S. Soccer Podcast.
These players are battered and exhausted, but you don't hurt like this if you don't care about this team, about this country, about this game.
I think you can feel the intensity.
The goals, the energy, wow, look at us.
Here in the U.S., I have got some news for you. There's so much more to come. My name is Megan Klingberg, and we're just getting started.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff.
11 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
One more look at your traffic and weather for your ride in on your Tuesday morning. Couple accidents, including one at I-20 eastbound and Bush River Road, another one at Hardscrabble and Clemson Road, one more at North Brickyard and Two Notch, and finally Kennerly at North Wingard Road. Today, high of 88 with plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow, high of 89 with some late afternoon and evening storms and some scattered thunderstorms Thursday as well. Currently 71 here in Columbia on the Game.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Oh, 9 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry along with you here on the Game. Serenaded by some AC/DC to open the show. This is a great song that I feel like every high school football game features at some point, like in pregame. You know, when both teams are out there warming up. Like this, Thunderstruck at some point makes its way into the rotation coming over the PA. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so. I remember when my brother was playing at Marshall for 2 years, the intro song for when the team ran out into the field would be this.
Makes sense.
Thundering Herd, Thunderstruck. So that was the whole thing there. So yeah, it's a great song, number one. But two, yeah, it definitely. I don't know. I mean, when I was at the high school game the other day at Fort Mill, I don't remember hearing this song being played. Maybe I'm forgetting, but I do feel like this is pretty commonplace to hear it at a game.
Every high school football game I've ever been to, I feel like features about the same 8 to 12 songs.
Yeah.
In that hour towards kickoff when everybody's warming up. And that seems to be one of them. I don't know. It's just whenever I hear it, I always think of high school football for some reason.
Oh yeah, it's a great song. It gets you pumped up, and that's the intention there.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. We're getting pumped up. We're getting that much closer to football actually being played here at South Carolina. Another opportunity to hear from Coach Beamer today. I imagine the first question is either going to relate to injuries or Ethan Johnson being added to the team.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, there's going to definitely be questions about how that kind of all came together, because it's different than what Beamer was saying a couple of weeks ago when he was initially asked about it at Team Media Day, where that wasn't really a part of the plans. That there have been some conversations, but that wasn't anything they were planning on doing. And then, lo and behold, they ended up actually doing it with adding a guy that from the class of 22 that had a extra year of eligibility now because of the court rulings. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to hear all about that. He should be able to talk about it no problem, since South Carolina announced it, that he's signed and eligible to practice right away. So get some clarity on that and what that's looking like. And yeah, we'll hopefully the injury updates are a little bit more, especially now that he gave Chris Lowe, who we had on last week, talking about preseason camp and whatnot. He gave Chris the biggest update in that they're probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. So maybe today we can figure out what potential timeline they're actually going to be ready by. Maybe it's Mississippi State. We'll see. But, yeah, lots to get into with Beamer. Then we're hearing from coordinators tomorrow for the first time in forever.
Looking forward to that.
I did get clarity. So we are going to hear from Matthew Smiley, the special teams coordinator, tomorrow.
Okay.
And then it'll be every 3 weeks after that. So you'll hear from him in week 3, which is the next time, and then like week 6, and then so on and so forth. So it's not every week, but obviously Clayton White and Kendall Briles will be every week.
Which that's fair. Like, do we need to talk to the special teams guy? Like, Pete Limbo had an interesting personality.
Yes. He could have his own. I mean, he had his own opening statement. He would go for 20 minutes like a head coach, and of course now he's the head coach at Buffalo, so he can handle it. You know, Joe D was more just straight to the point, and honestly, dude, his press conferences would last maybe a couple minutes sometimes.
They were not hard to cut up.
No, they're definitely not hard to cut up. So, I mean, unless something pressing happens in a game with special teams, there's not really a ton to ask about from that standpoint. See, it helped last year when Vicari was going off in those first few games, but you get to some random points in the year, and it's like, what do we really have to ask?
So that's something to look forward to today and tomorrow. I have a request to pass along from Bill Gunner.
Okay.
Since you're going to be at the press conference today. He wants to know how much Neff Jiwa has played in the scrimmages and whatever role that may be.
Okay. I mean, could try. The thing is, I don't know. Taking requests is tough in these situations because it's like you really only get 1 to 2 questions.
Sure.
So, I mean, I have other things that probably need to be asked.
Right.
If the mic comes back around and I can ask it, I will certainly do my best.
I understand.
I can't make any promises.
He wanted me to ask you, so I told him I would.
No,
I understand that
totally
you have your objectives that you need to get answered first.
It is a good question though. So maybe honestly, if one of my fellow writers out there is listening as well, and they don't have a question that they want to ask it, hey, there's your inspo right there.
For anybody going to the press conferences listening to this, Bill Gunner would like to know about Neff Jiwa and how much he's played in the scrimmages. Anybody can ask it. Feel free.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll see. We'll see if that gets asked later on today. Again, 1 o'clock. We'll hear from Coach Beamer. We'll have that for you on the halftime show. But we're only 11 days away. 11 days until South Carolina kicks off against Kent State coming up next Saturday. We'll get into Kent State a little bit more later on in the show as I finally started like doing a deeper dive into them. I have my opponent scouting document on Google Docs, and yesterday I cleaned out all the Clemson stuff that was there from November of last year. So that to me was a big step towards like, all right, we're almost there now that I'm actually updating this thing for the next opponent.
Yeah, we're finally getting into it's mock game week, so I'm also interested in hearing about what that entails. Because what does Saturday entail? I think is the big question for me. Because they're obviously not going to have a scrimmage on Saturday. I would need to pull up the schedule, but I'm assuming they'll practice on Saturday in some capacity, do the normal game day routine stuff. I'm guessing, but. Because I mean, it is mock game week, so
yeah.
I wonder what all that entails. So that's another thing that hopefully we'll hear from Beamer today. It's not the most pressing thing, but yeah, man, it's we're getting close now.
So as we look at 11 days until kickoff, 11 brings us to one of the more entertaining players that South Carolina's had in recent memory, that being Pharaoh Cooper, who, of course, played during the Steve Spurrier area. And when you say Pharaoh Cooper was a jack of all trades, that might be an understatement. In 3 seasons at South Carolina, 2,100 yards in receptions, 18 touchdowns through the air, 500 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, threw for 118 yards, and 1 touchdown as well. He did quite literally everything and more on offense during his time here at South Carolina. Those players are always fun to have. You can't always guarantee you're going to have that kind of guy, but somebody that can do anything you ask of him, especially on offense, is really cool to have.
Yeah, he's definitely a very solid player. I would say, and maybe this is not really a hot take, but I think he's kind of underrated in a lot of ways. Like, probably not the first name you think of when you think of like the great players here, but he's certainly like one of the best from an era where South Carolina kind of started. It kind of started like he was there for 2013.
Yeah,
that was a great season. 2014 and 15 were not up to standard. Those were the final years of the Spurrier era. So he was here during Spurrier, but he was also here during the transition when Spurrier resigned and then Sean Elliott takes over. So he was on the one, like arguably like the best team here at South Carolina with that 2013 squad that finished number 4 in the country. And then you have the 2014 team that went to the, I think at the time it was the Duck Commander Bowl. And then 2015, they obviously lost to the Citadel. So, yeah, he was here through the highs and lows and honestly went on to have a pretty respectable NFL career. Like, he made first-team All-Pro and second-team All-Pro in 2017, made a Pro Bowl. So, yeah, definitely nothing to be ashamed about there.
Yeah, like you said, he was a good player on 2 not great teams. So I feel like, he doesn't get talked about in the same way as, maybe the Alshon Jeffries and guys like that of years past because of, the specific teams that he played on there at the very end. But nevertheless, very special player that, again, could do so many different things. And it begs the question in my mind, is there a Pharaoh Cooper type on this team? Is there somebody on this roster, specifically on offense, that you look at and say, yeah, he can catch, he can run. If I need him to throw a touchdown pass, he could do that too. Is there anybody that stands out to you that can do that?
I don't know about the touchdown pass part because I, quite frankly, have not seen any of these guys throw a football in a game. So that's tough to say. Maybe that's a good question for one of these players today. Who's got the best arm on the team that is not a quarterback? And maybe because a lot of these guys, some of these guys definitely played quarterback when they were in high school. I don't know who off the top of my head played quarterback in high school that plays a different position now. I know DQ did when he was here.
I know Jazavian Currents did.
Yeah, Currents played 2 ways. That's right. There may be one other guy. I can't think of it off the top of my head, though. But I really don't know. I mean, honestly, on offense, though, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I don't know how much somebody like that will get used in this offense, right? I don't know if we're going to have wide receivers throwing passes, but, for a guy like Kendall Briles that does a variety of things on offense, if you have a gadget type of player like that, I'd be interested to see how he could get used. I don't know specifically who that could be. Now, if you wanted to expand this to defense, right, I think a guy like Vakari Swain, maybe not throwing the football, but I feel we've talked about this. I feel like he's somebody that if you wanted to use him in the passing game, and get him some reps, at receiver, I think he'd be very good at that. Again, we talked about Jazavian Currents doing a little bit of everything when he was in high school. I don't doubt he could do the same thing here in college if they wanted to use him there, but I just don't know if that's something that's on the table, if they would even consider. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at this point, I don't think they would play him on offense. Be pretty cool to see, but yeah, I don't see it. I think he does enough for this team. Playing defense at DB. He's going to be starting there this year, and he's doing the punt returning, obviously. He's handling a lot of duties already on his plate, so adding receiver to that, it's tough to play both ways. It definitely is, and there's only so many guys that can actually go out there and do it.
By the way, I'm just looking at the stats from last year because Brian Rowe did throw one pass a season ago for 21 yards, so he's the only wide receiver to do that. They still have Luke Doty listed as a wide receiver, by the way, on last year's statistics because it says Luke Doty, wide receiver, 19 of 30 for 153 yards. Was he the jack of all trades when he was here? A guy that literally just did whatever you asked of him?
I guess so. Yeah, I think if there's anyone that could throw the football at a different position, I'd probably say it's Luke Doty, which I think is unfair since he has played quarterback in college throughout his entire career. But yeah, that's kind of your Swiss Army knife, can kind of do it all. Was he the best player on this team? No, absolutely not. But was he willing to do whatever you needed him to do? Yeah, absolutely. So there's added value in that for sure.
Yeah, it's just a fun thought. Again, I don't know if there's anybody on this team that could even come into the stratosphere of the talent and versatility of a Pharaoh Cooper. But I don't know, maybe we'll see somebody emerge, right? You have a new offensive coordinator. There's a new set of eyes looking on this roster, guys from coming in from all over when it comes to the transfer portal. Maybe there's somebody with a hidden talent like throwing the football that we're not as aware of that we'll see on display this year. That'd be pretty fun to watch.
No, definitely. Would be very fun.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe DJ Black's got a really good arm, and we'll see him used in some different ways and maybe taking some handoffs too. So we'll see. But an interesting thought to have nonetheless as we are 11 days away from the season kicking off against Kent State, who, again, we'll get into a little bit later on in the show. But coming up next, Josh Pate has logged his record prediction for South Carolina, and also he thinks maybe they're the toughest team to figure out in the SEC. We'll debate that on the other side. It is The Extra Point. Tyler and Jack with you on your Tuesday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Give them a call today at 803-677-1500 to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. The AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of special extras like flexible visits, added discounts, priority scheduling, and so much more. AAA Heating and Air also offers indoor air quality products that work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens, pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses that may be out there. So go to callAAAtoday.com for more info. Call 3AsToday.com for more info. Tell them Jack from 107.5 The Game sent you on over.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor, call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Mount Valley Foundation Services is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org.
Hey, Mom and Dad, you know what back to school really means. It means rides. Rides to school, rides to practice, rides to meet other rides, rides to everywhere. This year, make all those rides comfortable, safe, and affordable with a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. School, soccer, football, dance, wherever you're headed. Ride in style and comfort with amazing technology, leading-edge safety, great gas mileage, and room for everything. Enjoy a no-hassle pricing and no-pressure buying experience at Honda of Columbia, Highway 378 at I-20.
Cato's Power Equipment is Columbia's home for the tools you need to maintain your turf. But we also take special pride in being the experts you rely on to maintain those tools. Whether your zero-turn or pushmower needs some major TLC, or just a basic tune-up to prevent downtime during the busy summer, our expert mechanics obsess over providing you with quality, dependable repairs and maintenance. The grass is going to grow this summer. Let Cato's Power Equipment keep you prepared. Come see us today at 4012 West Beltline Boulevard or online at catospowerequipment.com.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Metro!
Welcome back in, Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Tuesday on the Game. Getting closer to the season starting means it's about time to put in our record predictions for South Carolina. Before we give ours, Josh Pate, one of the most followed voices in all of college football, went through the entire SEC the other day on his show. What did he think South Carolina is capable of record-wise this upcoming year? Here's what he had to say.
Me, it's the toughest team to figure out in the league. South Carolina is incredibly difficult to figure out. For example, if I were to go to the best case, worst case route, 4-8 and 10-2 are both outcomes that I would look at and say, yeah, those are kind of the bookends. Those are the extreme edges of the possibility meter. Because if Lenora Sellers really does just seamlessly plug into this Kendall Browse offense, and the impact players that they've missed from time to time in spring and fall due to injury are good to go for the season. Like if I'm not listening to practice report after practice report about the availability of Dylan Stewart, if I'm not questioning the wide receiver room's development behind Nick Harbor, if all that stuff falls into place, they could be a really good team. Like this is the kind of team that if you're looking for the dark horse contender type, is a potential dark horse contender type, but we can't do that. We can't ignore that Dylan Stewart's availability has been in question. We can't ignore the injury concerns in general there. We can't ignore that what we're banking on here is a QB to plug into an offense that even if it does look promising, and even if he does love how he conceptually fits into it, he hasn't played in. I've got to take all that into consideration. I'm going 7-5 with South Carolina. I don't feel great about nailing myself down on this one, only because I feel like this could go two radically different directions. So 7-5, write it in very light pencil. Don't feel great about that one.
So two things here. We'll get to our own record predictions coming up in a moment. Is he right? Is Carolina the hardest team to figure out in the SEC this year because of all those factors?
They're one of the harder teams to figure out, because I think it's so widespread with what they're potentially capable of. Like he said, I also think there's definitely a world out there where they lose some games that they probably shouldn't lose. I'm not talking like first two games of the year. They'll win those games. But like Mississippi State, that's no guarantee. I think that game sets the loser down a path where they're not going to have a great year. And then you got like Kentucky. That's another game that I think South Carolina could potentially lose. So what about Arkansas lately? I think that's definitely a trap game right in between some really tough games against A&M and Georgia. So, yeah, South Carolina, if they're not careful, they can definitely fall right back to where they were last year. And that would be utter doom for the Gamecocks moving forward. But I also see reality where I don't think playoff. I don't see playoff when I think of this team. But I see realities in which they can be a very good team on the cusp of getting back to where they were 2 years ago.
And going back to his point about being the toughest team to figure out, I'd probably agree with that, because there are so many what-if type of things of like, okay, if Lenora Sellers plugs perfectly in this offense, if everybody stays healthy, if Jakari's peak, if Nick Harbor, if Dylan Stewart all play up to their full potential. Yes, this team has a ceiling as high as maybe anybody in the conference. If some of these guys come back on defense, take a step forward and become even better, in their second year or third year, whatever it may be, then yeah, this team is capable of being, I don't know, maybe in that 10-2 range or something along those lines. I'll go ahead and say nobody's going undefeated in the SEC.
No.
Especially not with the extra conference game. No. So, 12-0, I don't think is going to be on the radar for anybody in this conference. So I think 10-2 is probably the best end of what you can be in the SEC this year, more likely than not. Maybe somebody will be 11-1. I don't know, but that's the higher end. But things go wrong. Certainly if you have injuries, certainly if you have, if Lawrence Sellers doesn't exactly ball out the way we think he's going to, if Dylan Stewart's, dealing with injuries this year with his back on and off throughout the season, if some of these receivers don't pan out, as he mentioned there behind Nick Harbor, the way we think they're going to, then yeah, you could be right back into being 4-8 or 5-7 again. Like, that's not impossible. So perhaps for South Carolina, the range between your ceiling and the floor might be the biggest in the SEC.
Yeah, no, totally. There's a lot of upside for this team, but yeah, if injuries happen and things don't click the way they're supposed to, then yeah, this could be a mediocre to another rough year. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we're talking about this team. I mean, they're relatively healthy right now. They're banged up for sure with a few key guys down and out. But I mean, yeah, as long as they stay healthy most of the year and everything goes according to plan, it could be a very good season.
Now, where's Jack Veltri in terms of settling on a record prediction?
I'm gonna save I always save my official final record prediction for Gamecock Central, so that I guess you'll just have to check it out in there. However,
good tease.
I've always teetered back and forth. I think somewhere in the ballpark of like a 7 to 8 win team this year. I don't see anything more than that. I think they're going to be better than last year. They'll bounce back, but there are some games on the schedule I just don't see them winning. Like Georgia, not happening. Bama, I think that's another tricky game. They haven't been able to do it yet, and they've always gotten in their own way. I think going to Bama at night is really tricky, so I think that's probably another loss. I think going to the Swamp is also very tough. I don't know what the read is going to be on this Florida team. I want to just see them with my own eyes early in the year. Like when they go to Auburn, that's the game I'm trying to circle and watch to get a read on what they're going to be this year. But I think South Carolina probably loses that game as well. Like they'll win. They'll get off to a good start to the year, I think. Like maybe like 4-2 heading into the bye week. But it's that back half of the schedule, man, that I think is really going to kill them. But still, I think like a 7 to 8 win season with this schedule, and you factor in the fact of like there's now the 9th SEC game, a record like that doesn't really look as bad as it may seem to be. 7-5, if they were to finish with that record, I really wonder what the next step would be, because it depends. Like I think 7-5 may not be the best record, but it can look a lot better depending on where the wins came along the way.
Sure.
Do you have an upset against a top 10 team in there somewhere? Did you go on the road and beat Clemson? That's a key factor in this. If you beat Clemson on the road at the end of the year, that's your lasting impression heading into the bowl game potentially at 7-5. I think that awards Beamer the chance to come back for next season, because ultimately at the end of the day, what record is good enough for him to be back moving forward? I do personally think if it's 7-5 with a win over Clemson, I think that gets the job done. Anything better, regardless of whether you beat Clemson or not, I think keeps them around. Anything less than 7-5, I know you have a brand new staff and all that, and you've got some really highly ranked recruits coming in for future classes, but yeah, you're kind of tempting fate a little bit if you're going 6-6, or God forbid you miss a bowl game.
So Jack is going to put his prediction officially on Gamecock Central between now
7 to 8 wins. There's the tease. Go to Gamecock Central next week for my final prediction.
We'll revisit it when you actually put your final one out there. I'm ready to definitively say I think this is an 8-4 team.
Okay.
Right. Again, the ceiling of what this team could be if everything clicks perfectly is that 9 to 10 win range. If everything is a disaster, then you're talking about maybe 4 to 5 wins again. But I'm kind of going right in the middle. I think this team's capable of going 8-4. I think when you look at those first 6 games, from starting with Kent State, going all the way to the Florida game right before the bye week, I think you're looking at realistically being able to win at least 5 of those, right? I look at Alabama and Florida as, okay, I think you maybe split that 1-1, right? Which one you win, which one you lose, I don't know. But you're going to be favored against Mississippi State, going to be favored against Kentucky, and then if you can find a way to win one of those games between Alabama and Florida, you're in a good spot. Back half of the schedule, as you mentioned, gets really, really tough. Tennessee, Oklahoma, A&M, a little reprieve with Arkansas before Georgia and Clemson to round out the year. I just think that is going to really wear on you. You're going to Oklahoma, you face A&M, you get Georgia at home in the last week of the season, but they're going to be playing really good football by then. That's probably where I think the other 3 losses come to. Not saying you can't be competitive in those games, but I think you can beat Tennessee. I think you can beat Arkansas. I think you can beat Clemson. But the other 3 teams, all 3 teams that were in the college football playoff a season ago, I think those are going to be the games that right now, and my opinion on this can change. I'm just saying what I think the record's going to be as we head into the season. Right now, I think those are the 3 games that I don't think you're going to win at this point in time.
We'll see, man. We'll see. If the upside is even higher than we think, maybe that elevates them to a 9-win team potentially, which, look, in this conference, you go 9-3, that's a tremendous season, especially given the 9th SEC game. And heck, going 9-3 might get you into the college football playoff this year. So we'll see, man. But I think somewhere in the ballpark of like what we're saying here, 7 to 8 wins, I think gets the job done, and that's a relatively fine season after the way last year went.
So as we talk about the schedule, we got a better idea of what exact quarterbacks Carolina would be seeing this year with some of those position battles being decided around schools around the SEC. We'll take a look at what that means for Carolina's schedule coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler and Jack along with you here on your Tuesday on The Game.
The Game Summer Golf Classic, sponsored by White Brown Smiles, is coming Friday, August 28th at the Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The golf gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, knock down a hole-in-one and win a vehicle from Pound Automotive Group. Play the Vegas hole sponsored by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event, sponsored by White Brown Smiles on Friday, August 28th.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
For more than 4 decades, Pioneer Tree Service has been helping homeowners maintain and manage trees on their property. Their skilled crew offers customized solutions that match your needs and budget. Tree trimming and tree removal can be dangerous. You need to trust the people that are doing the job. Before attempting to remove limbs, call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote. They remove limbs safely and make sure that future growth is directed away from potential trouble areas, like roof lines and driveways. Cutting down trees takes more than a chainsaw. Even branches can weigh thousands of pounds, and their removal must be handled with care. Pioneer Tree Service offers a full complement of state-of-the-art heavy equipment, from track hose to bucket trucks, to safely remove trees and stumps from your property. They also provide 24-hour emergency tree removal. And no matter where you live, the Pioneer Tree Team can get there. Here's one of the Gant girls, Madison Gant.
Call us today for a free estimate at 803-794-8253 or check us out online at pioneertreesc.com.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we've seen how terrible accidents turn lives upside down, and we're proud to be the lawyers our clients depend on during their toughest moments. I'm Jason Reynolds. Call me when your family is faced with any serious injury or death.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, I go to work, getting you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on. We have the experience and passion you need when you need it most.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 779-4000.
Looking for a classy polo this fall? Hey, Scott here with Gamecock Traditions, inviting you to check out our outstanding selection of premium polos from Johnny O, Turtleson, Cutter & Buck, and other top brands. Whether you're headed to Williams-Brice Stadium, the office, or out for dinner, you'll find comfortable, stylish polos in garnet, black, white, and other colors every Gamecock fan will love. And it gets even better. You'll earn cash back on every qualifying purchase just for shopping with us. Gamecock Traditions, for Gamecocks, by Gamecocks. We're Gamecocks too.
Visit the go-to spot for dining in downtown Columbia. Step into the Golden Spur, the official restaurant of the University of South Carolina. From bold, crave-worthy lunches to elevated dinners, plus handcrafted cocktails that hit every time. The Golden Spur brings the flavor every visit. Planning something special? From celebrations to business gatherings, their private dining and event spaces set the perfect scene. The Golden Spur, where campus meets community. Located at 700 Lincoln Street, right across from Colonial Life Arena. Come see what everyone's talking about.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Tuesday here on the Game. Reminder, Thursday from 9 to 12, we're going to be live at Firehouse Subs on campus at 633 Main Street, just down the street from where our studio is. So come by and see us. If you're a student, come by between classes, or if you're just around town, come by and see us as well, as we'll be hanging out there and getting you set for the college football season. Then Friday, of course, we're going to be out at Charwood for the Games Summer Golf Classic. Looks forward to that, and of course, busy week next week as well, as we lead you up to the start of the South Carolina football season. We just talked about record predictions, and we talked about kind of what to expect this upcoming season. We're getting a clearer picture on what exactly South Carolina is going up against this year in terms of quarterbacks, where now in terms of the 10 Power 4 teams South Carolina is going to play, we pretty much know the starting quarterbacks for 9 of them. The one exception right now is still Clemson, who has a battle going on between Christopher Vezina and Tate Reynolds. Now, they have a huge game in week number 1 against LSU. I would be shocked if it wasn't Chris Vezina, at least starting game number 1, just given that he's more experienced in college than Tate Reynolds is. But who knows who the heck's going to be playing quarterback by the time week number 13 rolls around for the rivalry game.
And that's the case with all these teams, man. Just because they name one starter now does not mean that someone else isn't taking snaps by the time they play South Carolina late in the year. Injuries can happen. Guys can play bad. Things change throughout the year. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we're seeing somebody else, especially that Clemson game. Who knows what Clemson's even going to be by that point in the year. I don't think they're going to be anything great. But, yeah, I mean, if they're playing well and Vezina's doing well, he'll be out there. But if not, I do wonder at some point do they turn the keys over to Tate Reynolds, a freshman that they probably feel pretty good about.
I think the prevailing thought there, and again, Vizina's not specifically been named the starter yet, but I'm assuming they're going to give him the nod.
It's definitely leaning that way, it feels like.
Yeah, but the thought is at some point this year, Reynolds may take the reins, right? If Vizina has a bad game or something like that and Reynolds comes in and plays well, then okay, maybe it's his job from there. We've seen that in the past with Deshaun Watson. We've seen that with Trevor Lawrence. And once you gave those guys their opportunity, they never really looked back. So I wouldn't be surprised if a similar thing happens this year to where Reynolds is that quarterback by the time that game rolls around the Saturday after Thanksgiving. But as we look around the rest of the schedule for South Carolina, again, yesterday learning that Keelan Russell is going to be starting for Alabama. Aaron Philo is going to be starting for Florida. And Faison Brandon is going to be starting for Tennessee. That confirms that out of the 10 teams that South Carolina is going to play out of the Power Four, only 3 quarterbacks have more than 3 starts in their college career. That being Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, John Mateer at Oklahoma, and then Marcel Reed at Texas A&M. That's it. Everybody else, Mario Taylor has 2 career starts. Everybody else, 2 or fewer starts in their college career going into this year, which means almost all those guys will be in single-digit starts by the time that South Carolina plays them this year.
You're going to be facing 7 quarterbacks. Once Clemson figures out theirs, it'll be 7 guys in total from different schools. You're facing 7 teams this year with a first-year full-time starting quarterback. Some of these guys have made starts before, but they were not the starter all year. Like, Kamario Taylor only started 2 games for Mississippi State last year at the tail end of the season. He's going to be the starter moving forward now, right? Kenny Minchie's never started a game in his career before when he was at Notre Dame for 3 seasons. He's now a starting quarterback for Kentucky. So there's 6 SEC schools and 1, Clemson, that you're facing that are running out a first-year starting quarterback. And so that's going to be very interesting. I think it gives South Carolina a little bit of a leg up at the start of the season, especially when you're facing Kamario Taylor, who's going to be making his first ever SEC road start at South Carolina. He'll go to Minnesota the week before, and if State wins that game, maybe there's a little bit of confidence brewing that he can handle the road environment, but the SEC is far different than Minnesota, for instance, right? So it's going to be a lot different going to Willie B. He's just lucky it's not at night for that first game. Even in week 4, like Keelan Russell, home start, that definitely helps. Being at night against South Carolina, I still think there's a little bit of like that. By that point, we have not reached the point where it's like the guy's experienced. He's no longer a freshman anymore. He's no longer a first-year starting quarterback. He's well-seasoned enough to handle those moments where the mistakes aren't happening as frequently. I don't think that's the case yet by week 4. I still think mistakes can certainly happen, especially in the infancy of SEC play beginning. But, like, after the bye week, like, once October rolls around, like, by the time you play Faison Brandon in Tennessee, for instance, Faison Brandon's no longer going to be a freshman when October 24th comes in here. So, yeah, 5-star freshman prospect, has never played a snap of college football. By that point, he'll have, 7 to 8 games already under his belt?
Yep.
So, yeah, he'll be well experienced by that point. And then everything after that, games-wise, yeah, I think Arkansas and Clemson are the only other teams that are running out first-year quarterbacks that are after that Tennessee game. So, yeah, I mean, first half of the year, you play a lot of first-year starters. It could definitely benefit South Carolina, but second half of the year, these guys should be well-seasoned enough to be ready for those games.
As I mentioned earlier in my record prediction, I look at, the Alabama and Florida games, your 2 road games in the first 4 games of the regular season as, hey, that's realistically something I think they're going to split, right? Which game they win, which game they lose, I don't know. You obviously showed your ability to push Alabama to the limits the past couple times you played them, so no reason to think you can't go in there and actually win in Bryant-Denny Stadium. But that is one advantage that both Keelan Russell and Aaron Philo are going to have, is these guys are going to be playing in their home stadiums. If those teams were coming to Williams-Brice Stadium, like Kamario Taylor's going to have to do, like Kenny Minchie's going to have to do, like Faison Brandon's going to have to do, I'd feel a whole lot better about South Carolina's ability to win those games. But those guys can be on their home field. That is going to play in their hand a little bit. Doesn't mean you can't beat them, but I do think that's something that's going to benefit them a little bit, having those games in their home ballpark instead of being on the road at Willie B.
Yeah, totally. So that'll definitely help out a lot, and we'll see, man. I mean, the defense is also, I think, going to be good enough either way, regardless of when you're playing these guys this season, to force these teams or these quarterbacks to make mistakes. And I think South Carolina's going to take advantage. Like, I do think there's a real possibility or world out there where they lead the SEC in forced turnovers as a defense. And I think a lot of that may have to do with just the fact that, yeah, they're playing guys that are very inexperienced as starting quarterbacks in the SEC. So I think that definitely gives South Carolina the advantage to maybe win a game or two extra that, could help elevate their overall win total and push it to that 7 to 8 win range that we're talking about.
Well, and here's hoping that as teams look at their schedule, they're concerned about their ability to contain a very experienced Lenore Sellers as he goes into his third season as South Carolina's starting quarterback. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. Lane Kiffin spoke on accepting NFL guys onto LSU's roster this year. Well, let's hear what he had to say and the SEC's response to all this as well. Coming up next, it is The Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Tuesday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Jen from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, a bakery, a coffee shop, burger joint, or a pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? We got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Well, that's not good. San Francisco 49ers owner and CEO Jed York has resolved a stunning legal matter following his weekend arrest in Ohio. Police and a human trafficking task force took York into custody during an undercover operation where he allegedly arranged an encounter through an online ad. You know, one of those. And he's now facing counts of prostitution. I'm Drake Toll.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
University of Maryland Global Campus offers more than 50 flexible online certificates that provide short-term credentials and real-world skills you can use immediately, with a range of affordable undergraduate and graduate certificates in high-demand fields like business, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and healthcare. You can earn credentials quickly to help advance your career. No application fee if you apply by September 1st. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used a trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing. A chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The best time to recommit to your gut health goals? Right now. Take charge of your gut with Nature Made. Our clinically studied ingredients support digestive health. Digestive enzymes break down nutrients. Probiotic and prebiotic fiber nourish good gut bacteria. And super greens with probiotics empower daily digestive health. Try the full lineup of gut health support from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack wrapping up hour number 1 here on your Tuesday on the Game. The news around college football, of course, is the latest TRO allowing certain players on NFL rosters to return to college football. And, well, LSU snatching them up left and right. We already talked about Daquan Wright yesterday, the tight end that had been with the Cleveland Browns all the way up to the end of last week, that is now returning to LSU and college football to play for his former coach in Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. And same thing can be said for Xavier Harris, defensive lineman who played at Ole Miss and was recently a member of the New Orleans Saints, that is now making his return to college football to go play at LSU as well. Lane Kiffin yesterday, speaking to the media, gave his first thoughts on these guys returning to college after playing in the NFL and his belief if that's the right thing to do or not.
Do it. So, we have, made a decision to recruit some kids around the country. And, through these multiple injunctions around the country, which this is not a first time, they've been in college sports for a while, a group of players were granted a 5th year of eligibility around the country in multiple sports. And through them winning their injunction and entry into the portal, they're available to recruit. And so ourselves, like many places around the country, are recruiting them. And at the end of the day, because of these rulings, they're either going to play for you or they're going to play somewhere else around the country. So we've made a decision to recruit them, like probably most people are.
Jack, I don't disagree with Lane Kiffin here. Here's the thing. Lane Kiffin was hired, as every coach is, to win football games. This opportunity presented itself where, through weird circumstances, there are guys, a couple of them that played for you at Ole Miss, that have the opportunity to come back to college. If he believes they can help him win, and there's nothing preventing him from doing that, he's going to go do it, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about winning football games. And we can all, pretend that coaches have this moral high ground of being above, doing these nefarious things in college football to gain an edge. But they're all trying to win. They're all trying to save their butts, and all they're trying to save their jobs at the end of the day. And Lane Kiffin, quite literally, is just taking advantage of a weird loophole right now. And until somebody, and I'll get to what the SEC put out as a statement in a moment, until somebody says, hey, if you do this, we're going to penalize you for it, I don't blame Lane Kiffin at all for taking advantage of this. It's just the circumstance that presented itself.
He's just exposing the broken system, the lawlessness, because there's no structure, there's no rules. It's go to a court, get a court ruling in your favor from a hometown judge, and you're good to go. Like the same case here with, speaking of LSU, with the R.J. Luis case, with him being able to play for Will Wade and LSU this upcoming season for the men's basketball program after he was in the G League with the NBA on a 2-way contract. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same case there. And look, LSU is just taking advantage of a broken system. I mean, it does not make me like LSU anymore. In fact, I think they're even more the villains now in this case. But at the end of the day, they're just doing what they got to do. And I get that. I do.
So the SEC puts out a statement yesterday. College athletes, not professional athletes, have been the heart of the Southeastern Conference, blah, 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 blah. Professional athletes should not then be permitted to return to college competition. They advocate for the College, Protect College Sports Act to be passed and all that kind of stuff. Now, ADs are, this per Ross Dellinger, meeting believe today, or SEC presidents are expected to direct ADs against accepting pro players under threat of penalty. Greg Sankey and our presidents hold authority to deem a player ineligible, fined, suspended, etc. The question is, will they? That's per Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. That decides all this, right? If the league comes out and says, hey, if you accept these guys onto your team, you're not eligible for the postseason, you're not eligible for the SEC championship, we're going to fine you, whatever it may be, that's when things get done. Until then, like I said, for Lane Kiffin, I mean, Shane Beamer accepted a player the other day, Ethan Johnson, not on an NFL roster, but somebody that still took advantage of the TRO for the class of 2022. Until the league puts its foot down and says, you're going to be penalized for doing this, I have no problem with Lane Kiffin doing it, right? Like you said, he's taking advantage of a broken system, and until somebody steps in and says, all right, this is going to prevent you from being able to accomplish X, Y, and Z, you're going to do it, right? And now the ball is in the SEC's court, much like it was with the Big 12 when it came to Brennan Sorsby, where they definitively did put their foot down and said, hey, we're going to penalize you if you play this guy at quarterback. Here's the league's chance to do this in the SEC. Will they? We'll see.
I was going to say, I wonder what they'll even do at this point. The season's 12 days away, or what is it, 11 at this point? Yeah,
11.
Yeah.
Which I think Missouri plays next Thursday. So technically.
But like for LSU, though, LSU plays next Saturday.
Right.
Like the season's around the corner. Got to make a decision on this sooner rather than later here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're taking advantage of a system that just does not have. I just don't understand how. I don't think anyone was prepared for this to happen, first off. But it's amazing just how powerless the NCAA feels in all of this. And I am going to be interested to see what the SEC comes out with to kind of. Do they kind of just let this happen? Do they not say anything? Do they enforce some sort of rules? I think something will happen in terms of them enforcing something, but I don't know what it's going to do exactly.
Well, clock's ticking, man. I mean, we don't have a month to do this. Games, like you said, are being played next weekend, specifically for LSU against Clemson. You better figure it out. Like, you need something by, I don't even say by the end of this week, in the next day or so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because you need to set these things in place now because, A, these guys are going to start practicing here with their teams here relatively soon, the guys that are coming in from the NFL. And also, you don't want more of this to happen, I think, if you're the SEC. So you got to get a grip and fast. Otherwise, things are just going to continue to be out of control, and teams are just going to be doing whatever they need to do to feel like they can be the best.
Like I said, Greg Sankey, ball's in your court. What are you going to do? We'll find out soon, hopefully. That'll do it for hour number one. Hour number two on the way. What do we know about Kent State? We'll tell you about it coming up next. It is The Extra Point on your Tuesday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Are you calling your IT company over and over for the same issue? Getting passed around to people who can't help? Or worse, getting hacked after being told you were protected? That's not normal. At IntelliSystems, real engineers answer the phone live, resolve issues quickly, and explain things in plain English. If something feels off with your current IT provider, it probably is. Call IntelliSystems today and see what better IT support should actually feel like. IntelliSystems.com.
Vista Roofing, your local CertainTeed Select Shingle Master. Looking for a roof that's built to last? Trust the certified experts at Vista Roofing for professional installation, top-tier materials, and peace of mind backed by industry-leading warranties. From repairs to full replacements, Vista Roofing delivers durable results and exceptional service. Call now or visit VistaRoofingINC.com to schedule your free estimate. Vista Roofing, raising the standard one shingle at a time.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, smells musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor, call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Mount Valley Foundation Services is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Looking for a place where your whole family can grow, get fit, and build lasting friendships? The YMCA of Sumter has something for every age and skill level. From state-of-the-art fitness equipment and group exercise to youth sports, or our premier gymnastics center, which offers competitive USAG programs, sensory-aware adaptive classes, daytime options for homeschool families, plus energetic adult gymnastics. Every participant is given a strong foundation to grow. Plus, through our Warriors to Wellness initiative, we're proud to honor those who serve. Active military members with a valid military ID pay zero join fees, whether you're swinging on the bars, trying a new workout, or reaching your wellness goals. There's a supportive community waiting for you here. Find your strength and get started today. Visit us online at ymcasumter.org. Want to take advantage of your new membership at the YMCA of Sumter? Go to the station's website this Friday at 9 a.m., click on Sweet Deals, and get 50% off a 3-month membership. Join fees included.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff.
11 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Discover the Griffin difference. Turn these scorching summer days into unforgettable memories with a beautiful custom pool from Griffin Pools and Spas. Whether it's family fun, weekend cookouts, or relaxing after a long day, your dream backyard starts with us. Stop sweating through another summer and start making a splash in your own backyard. Call Griffin Pools and Spas today and let us build the backyard you've always imagined.
Griffin Pools and Spas, we make you feel good. Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown. Are you concerned about aging parents? Our life care planning services address legal, financial, and care concerns. Whether you want to be proactive or you're in the middle of navigating care, let us help you help them. You aren't alone in this. Visit lawyerlisa.com/care to see how our planning can help your family.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
For the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game, WNKT Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Oh, wow! With Tyler Head and Gamecock Central. On 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. The 107.5 The Game app and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in, hour number 2. Extra point. No, it's the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Sorry, I'm used to seeing
close enough.
I'm used to seeing Wes or Chris in here. That usually helps me when it comes to the name of the hour. Chris had something going on, so it's just be us hanging out for the hour here. But at 10:15, we're going to have Chris's interview with Jordan Thomas, transfer defensive tackle from the University of Georgia, that he sat down with yesterday and got some insight for him and how his first year in Columbia is going. Obviously, his expectations for the upcoming season. So we'll let you hear that coming up here in about 15 minutes. And we'll dive into the defensive line room a little bit later on in the hour as well, because one kind of interesting thing that I feel like is obvious, but maybe hasn't been talked about a lot with it, that I'll tell you about a little bit later on in the hour. But, Jack, we are only 11 days away from the season kicking off. Unfortunately, no disrespect to Kent State, the Golden Flashes, there's a different vibe when you open the season against a MAC school as opposed to, I don't know, the team that played for a national championship a year ago in Miami. Because, again, that was the original schedule, was you were supposed to have the Hurricanes come here this year, and then you're supposed to go to Miami on the return trip in 2027. We understand why that game got changed and why you're playing Kent State now and why all of your future non-conference opponents, with the exception of Clemson, have been scrubbed from the schedule. Doesn't make it any less fun that, we could have been talking about Miami coming into town here and really could have sunk our teeth into it, right? Like, that's a quality opponent that's exciting and fun to talk about. They say, okay, can Carolina hang with them? How are they going to deal with Darian Mensah, Mario Cristobal versus Shane Beamer? How's that going to go? Unfortunately, Kent State doesn't bring that same kind of juice.
No, unfortunately not. I think the hype for next week would have been really through the roof right now, but it's not. It's Kent. No disrespect to Kent State, right? Like, I love Maction, but they obviously don't bring the same flair and pizzazz as the U. And the U is back. Like, they went to the national championship game last year, almost took down that great Indiana team in Miami last year. So I think Miami's going to be very good again this year, but it is unfortunate. And again, it's not South Carolina's fault. It's not Miami's fault. It's really just the way the schedule works now and just what the college football playoff views. Because I think if strength of schedule mattered and who you play and who you beat mattered, then I think South Carolina would still have Miami on the schedule. But alas, those things don't matter. And so it just matters how many wins you're getting at the end of the year, regardless of who they come against. Why would South Carolina go ahead and schedule an extra Power 4 non-conference opponent when they already play Clemson every year? If they didn't play Clemson every year, yeah, this Miami game would probably be on the schedule still. But alas, you only need to play one outside Power 4 conference opponent, and so it'll be Clemson every year, and no longer the Miamis of the world or North Carolinas, teams like that.
I'm really hoping something within the structure of how the committee looks at things, how the playoff format changes, whatever it may be, happens that allows these games to come back, because it's not fun looking ahead to the future. And yeah, you're going to play non-conference games, you'll play Clemson, but like, it's always neat to see like, oh, hey, couple years, NC State, a trip to Virginia Tech, I don't know, if you played like a TCU one year in week one or something like that, that's fun. And it gives you the opportunity to experience a different fan base and a different team that you're not used to. Everybody here has seen all the teams in the SEC, with the exception of Texas, I guess. Everybody here has seen Clemson, a billion times. You alternate home and away every single year. It's nice to have fresh matchups, and that Miami thing would have been very fresh, very unique. I'm sure everybody that was looking forward to going down to South Beach next year is sad they had to cancel those plans, obviously. And again, I hope the structure of college football changes where we can get those games back and can actually look forward to some of those week one opponents, because right now there's no quality week one opponent in Carolina's future at all. And that's just the reality. No, not at all. I did see 2028, South Carolina is going to be technically having I guess it will be, a week 0 game. Is that true? Yeah, I saw the state reported it this morning, but also you go to FBS schedules. The first game of the year, I'm looking up who it's against. Oh, Bowling Green. Okay. Bowling Green, now August 26th. How about that? So instead of September, whatever it would have been. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But again, it just goes. I don't mind South Carolina playing these teams at the beginning of the year, because honestly, man, it's nice to have these little tune-up games before you get into the meat of your schedule. Like you play Miami this season next week, you lose that game, you get blown out. That just kills the vibe for the season moving forward. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a really good Miami team, and what is this South Carolina team going to be? Who the heck knows? But I feel like it'd be very deflating to go out here, and I think it'd be comparable to. Granted, I was not on the beat at the time. This is long before you and I were here, and I did not. I had heard about this game when I think I was in middle school when it happened. So it was my freshman year of high school when South Carolina, the Kenny Hill game, where Kenny Trill. A&M comes in here and just stomps South Carolina. Like, I think it was 52-28 or something. And I think that took the wind out of the sails for the season. Yeah, South Carolina made a bowl game and won the Independence Bowl, the Duck Commander Bowl against Miami, coincidentally enough, that season. But I think that took the wind out of the sails for what that season was going to be, potentially. And so I think a similar thing could have happened here, whereas you have a chance to get off to a very good start to the season.
with potential wins over Kent State and Towson. You get Mississippi State coming into town. I think you're ready to go by that point, and I think that's a game you probably should win. So in terms of getting off to a good start, which is something South Carolina hasn't always done in the Beamer era, and quite frankly, I think Shane needs it this season to get off to a really good start. I think there's a benefit to not having Miami on the schedule week 1 because I think Miami's going to be really tough to beat this season.
So we can't change what's done now. Carolina will open the season and get to Kent State coming up next Saturday. Mark Carney is the head coach of the Kent State Golden Flashes going in to year number 2 after going 5-7 in year number 1. What did he say about the prospects of playing South Carolina in week 1?
Yeah, it's a lot still to work on. Thank goodness we still got 2 weeks to get stuff ready. The Gamecocks, SEC opponent, they're going to be ready for us. We got a lot of execution, energy, enthusiasm things we need to work on before kickoff number 1.
All right, and then technically,
Again, Mark Carney there, Kent State head coach, on his thoughts on playing South Carolina. And look, we know what these games are for a team like Kent State. It's an opportunity to get a really nice paycheck that's going to help out all facets of your, athletics, all the way from football down to equestrian and whatever else. Now, they're going to come in here. They're going to give it their best shot, and they're going to try to, pull an upset and be, another version of Appalachian State or something like that. But I won't lie to you, Jack. As I mentioned earlier, I cleaned out my opponent scouting sheet and took all the Clemson stuff out from last year and started plugging in the Kent State stuff. I can't find a lot of redeeming qualities about this Kent State team other than Dorelis Clark, the kick returner and punt returner that Shane Beamer mentioned the other week in terms of the early film he'd seen on him. They don't have a lot on paper that tells me this team's very good.
Quarterback's okay. Drew DeShields.
Yeah, he's all right.
18 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions last year, threw for 2,000 yards. Not amazing, but not always putting the football in harm's way. Definitely not a runner.
Well,
so,
the belief was they limited him on running last year because they didn't want him to get hurt. So he does have that ability, and maybe that's something they unlock a little bit more this year.
Yeah, and that first game of the year would definitely be a good time to go out there and just show it. Even if you're putting it on film right away, gives you a chance to sneak up on South Carolina maybe a little bit.
As I kind of went through their numbers here, this team was atrocious on offense a year ago. 115th in scoring, 131st rushing offense, 99th passing offense, 128th total, second fewest first downs in the nation, second lowest third down percentage in the nation, and the fewest red zone trips of anybody in college football. Now, they did go out there. They added some guys in the portal, a few offensive linemen from the FCS ranks. They got a couple of transfers, at running back, one of them from Cincinnati and Jakarian Caffey. But I'm struggling to find, the dude, right? A lot of these little smaller teams will have the guy that you look at and say, hey, wait a minute, watch out for this dude. And I'm not trying to disrespect Kent State, and look, Beamer's gonna play them up to be the monster that they are when he gets the opportunity to talk about them today or next week, whatever that is. But I'm struggling to find that dude on this team.
I am too. And look, when you look at this team, it was 2 seasons ago. They went 0-12. The year before, they went 1-11. They were a bit better last year. They won 5 games, went 4-4 in the MAC. So it really wasn't the worst season ever. Definitely an improvement by their standards, but there's no excuse for South Carolina to win this game by a touchdown, right? My point is, this should not be what we've seen before happen, where it's the same movie over and over again. Outside that first season where they clobbered Eastern Illinois, it was always barely winning the season opener. Old Dominion 2 years ago, Georgia State, they got a little bit of a scare in 2022. Virginia Tech last year, they should be able to go out here, have a pretty comfortable first 2 games to where you're winning by 20-plus points. That should ultimately be the goal in these games. Nobody gets hurt, number one. You don't show too much on offense or anything for that matter, but you put yourself in a position to win those games handedly, get a lot of guys in, and get some experience in those first 2 games. Tune up. That is literally what the definition of what these games are. Tune-up games to get you ready for the meat of your schedule, because those next 10 games, it's going to be tough, and you got to be ready to go for it. So you hopefully get 2 early wins checked off the box here. But this Kent State game, I mean, yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't be winning this game by plenty. You look at last year, dude. I know teams change year after year, but they went to Texas Tech last year, lost by 40. They went to Florida State 2 weeks later. They lost by 50. I mean, South Carolina. They went to Oklahoma, too. They lost by 44, got shut out. South Carolina should have no business letting this team hang around. And I don't mean that as disrespect. I just mean that as South Carolina is an SEC program, and we're talking about a MAC school. A MAC school should not be coming in here and giving South Carolina the work. It should be the complete other way around.
The most interesting thing about this team might be special teams. Of course, we mentioned Dorelis Clark with a couple of special teams scores a year ago. They also have a punter in Jake Stokel that's ambidextrous. He can punt with both feet.
That's pretty interesting.
It's about the extent of interesting I found out about Kent State.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But hey, you're the first to ask Shane about Kent State. So
take that, Cloninger.
Do you remember what he had to say? I mean, I'm sure they've already started there. And honestly, that's probably what mock game week is about too, is figuring out this Kent State team. You get a little bit of a leg up here, and so did they, in terms of scouting out the opponent before the game here with 2 weeks to go. So, I mean, look, they're going to probably do everything they can to figure out everything about this team. But I think it's always tricky, though, because it's week one. You don't have any tape on this team, and neither will Kent State on South Carolina. So, and these rosters look so different year after year to where I can imagine the scouting for this game is going to be a lot tougher than the other ones that you'll have throughout the rest of the season.
We'll see if Beamer says anything today about Kent State. Certainly we'll talk about them more next week as we'll officially be into game week. But again, as I kind of looked up and down their roster, I didn't see anything that really stood out in doing my initial scouting yesterday. Coming up next, Chris Clark's conversation with Jordan Thomas, transfer defensive lineman from Georgia, as the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krantz Schooling, Heating, and Plumbing rolls along on your Tuesday on the game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com. Dave's Hot Chicken stands out by doing one thing exceptionally well, serving crave-worthy hand-breaded hot chicken packed with bold flavor. Dave's fresh hand-breaded chicken tenders and sliders packed with bold flavor and 7 spice levels ranging from no spice to the legendary Reaper. Crave-worthy sides including seasoned fries, kale slaw, mac and cheese, and Dave's sauce. Dave's focused menu, generous portions, and energetic atmosphere create a unique experience customers remember. Plus, Dave's Hot Chicken on Devine Street in Columbia and Broad Street in Sumter are locally owned and operated by Built Different Brands. They believe great restaurants should serve both great food and their communities. You'll love everything about the bold personality of Dave's Hot Chicken and their people-first hospitality. Don't miss out on this sweet deal from Dave's Hot Chicken in Columbia and Sumter. Beginning this Friday at 9 a.m., head to 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals to get a $50 gift certificate to Dave's Hot Chicken for just $25.
Football fans, it's almost time to draft your team and kick off another season. This year, take your fantasy football draft party to Twin Peaks, where cold drinks, made from scratch food, and wall-to-wall TVs make your local lodge the ultimate draft day headquarters. Round up your league, grab a table, and get ready for the picks, the rivalries, and a full season of bragging rights. Whether you're defending your title or drafting for the first time, start your fantasy season at Twin Peaks. Book your fantasy football draft party at your local lodge today.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Mid-State Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Mid-State Twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire Automotive.
Maybe it's 250 degrees right now in honor of America's 250th birthday.
So, come to Pope Davis for our All-American Star Spangled, Red, White, and Blue, Freedom Eagle AC Special.
$50 off charging your AC or $200 off if you need your compressor replaced.
That's really giving ice cold.
This offer only good while it's still really freaking hot outside or until August 31st.
Bet.
Visit us online at popedavistire.com.
Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org.
Cato's Power Equipment has exciting news for our Toro and Gravely zero-turn customers. Starting summer of 2026, we're introducing the all-new Cato's Care Plan, designed to keep downtime to an absolute minimum, with scheduled routine maintenance, priority scheduling, affordable pickup and delivery, and everyday low pricing. Give us a call at 803-254-3711 or go online to catospowerequipment.com to get your plan quote today.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome in, everyone. It's the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. I'm Chris Clark. Got another special guest this week for you from Gamecock Football. It's our guy, Jordan Thomas. Jordan, what's up? Hope you're doing well, man.
I'm good.
Good. Appreciate you taking time to join me, man. How have things been going for, the past several months since you've been in Columbia? What have you thought so far?
It's been going good. I like Columbia. It's a good place. Very hot, very humid sometimes, but it's going pretty good. I like the school here too. People are pretty chill.
Yeah, good stuff, man. All right, well, we're going to get into a lot of football, but I want to start off just giving, all the Gamecock fans that are listening an opportunity to just get to know you a little bit more. So, obviously, you're from New Jersey, transferred here from the University of Georgia, but tell us a little bit about, you growing up, things you like to do off the field. Like, let us know a little bit about Jordan Thomas, the person.
I like to watch TV a lot. Well, I like to watch anime, actually. I love watching anime. I watch some Netflix shows, but mainly I really try to just watch anime. I've been watching anime since I was growing up, and I watch a little bit of the NFL. I watch some NBA sometimes. I like soccer. People don't know that. I like watching soccer. I play FIFA a lot. Favorite food, I'd probably say like burgers. Definitely like burgers. My favorite burger spot, probably Smash Burger.
There you go.
They got like best burgers, but I play video games a lot too. Favorite video game, Fortnite. After that, it's probably like Call of Duty or 2K.
Yep, 2K. No college football?
I play college football sometimes.
Okay. You're on the game, right? You on there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on there.
All right. Good deal. All right. So what are the differences between, like New Jersey? I've been to New Jersey, not where you're from, but I've been to New Jersey. To me, it seems probably a good bit different than Columbia, right? But what do you think? What are the main differences there?
I'd probably say definitely the heat. Definitely, it's very country here. Like New Jersey, you're gonna see a lot of cities and like buildings. here you might see a lot of grass for a little bit. Like if you're driving down one road, you'll see a lot of grass for a little bit. You see some like horses and stuff. New Jersey, you won't really see that unless you go to like the countryside of New Jersey, but it's not like really country. It's like kind of country. Like, you'll see some farms in Jersey, but like mainly if you're driving down the road, you're gonna see a lot of cities and buildings and like places to eat and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so when you were getting recruited out of high school, I remember covering you as a high school recruit, and I do remember at that time, you know, South Carolina had offered. I think you were considering South Carolina some. Obviously, you signed with Georgia, but what did you remember about like the high school process with South Carolina?
I remember Coach Lindsey was recruiting me.
Yep.
And I was gonna go there, but just I had a good visit with Georgia, and then Coach Lindsey got fired. So, I mean, Coach Scott recruited me for like a little bit, but like it was like for like a month, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to take the risk. And then so I ended up going to Georgia.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about the first, you know, couple years of college ball. Obviously, going from high school football, as good as you were in high school, you know, it's always a transition when you're going up to Power 4, you know, SEC level. But what kind of stood out to you as soon as you got to college about, you know, just how different it was, whether it was workouts or trying to balance your time or like how good everybody else is? Like, what really stood out to you?
I'll definitely say them workouts. Like my first workout was like here or at Georgia?
At Georgia, just in general. Yeah.
Oh, just in general, college workouts are like in high school, like you'll do workouts, but like they won't be like college. Like in college, they're like working on multiple things in your body. You know, in high school, you probably do like some bench press, like squats and stuff. But like here, got way more options because you got a bigger weight room, stuff like that. But we run a lot more too. Also, we're always running in college, but it's all good. It's pretty good workouts.
When you got to South Carolina, you know, because you mentioned, hey, or you asked like South Carolina or Georgia workouts. Like, I know Coach Day does some things differently here with the workout program. What like stood out to you as being different here at South Carolina with the workout program?
Only thing I'll probably say is just the warm-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Warm-ups are pretty longer here, but everything else is just basically the same thing, just work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably run a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. Working with Coach Travian Robertson, you know, a guy who played in the league. What has that experience been like for you since you've been here, just getting to learn from him and work alongside him?
It's been pretty good. You know, he's knows what he's talking about. He's been in the league. He's played college ball before. He's coached at other places. So he's always gave good advice, and I know he's a good coach.
What about the depth that you guys have been able to build in that defensive tackle room? You know, it seems like there's a lot of experience, a lot of guys like you who played SEC football for multiple years, you know, a lot of production, a lot of talent. What have been your thoughts on just kind of working with the rest of the guys in that room and how you guys have integrated together?
Oh, it's been pretty good. Our depth's been good. We've been closer as a D-line. We got like a lot of people who play college ball, people who played in the SEC, Big Ten or whatever. Our freshmen are really good, so it's been pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. How would you describe, you know, as a player playing in Clayton White's defense? You know, it's a defense that likes to go get a lot of turnovers, likes to be pretty active up front. Do you have any way that you would describe, you know, being able to play in that scheme?
Yeah, defense, like, you're gonna make a lot of plays if you do what he wants you to do and stuff like that. Defense made for people to make plays. You're gonna see a lot of TFLs and a lot of sacks, stuff like that. And yeah, I'll explain that defense like that. I like that. It's a pretty good defense.
When you got here to South Carolina after you entered the transfer portal, what were your biggest priorities, like, to take your game to the next level? Was it mean, it might be everything, right? But it was like, hey, I need to, really hone in on technique. I need to really, make sure this is my best off season ever in the weight room. Like, what were the specific things you were really honing in on?
I'll probably say my technique. I still got to work on that. I still got to perfect it. I'll probably just say technique for sure.
When you look at this season's schedule, you guys, Georgia comes back on South Carolina's schedule. They haven't played in a little bit. Used to play every year. But what's it going to be like, welcoming those guys to Williams-Brice and playing against some of your former teammates and stuff?
I think it'll be pretty cool, pretty good for them to come back here, and especially we got to get that win. So I think it'll be pretty good.
What has the vibe of this team been like, throughout the off season? You got here in spring ball, so you've done, winter workouts and spring ball and summer, and now you're in preseason camp. Where do you feel like the attitude and mentality of this team is at right now?
I feel like this team is very motivated to having a very good year. They're not comfortable with what happened last year, so that's good to see. So that's what I see from out this team.
Give us a little bit of your insight on playing against, Lenoris and Coach Briles and that offense in practice. Talk about a lot of using tempo. There's going to be teams you guys play against this year defensively where their offense runs tempo. How has that been, and do you feel like it's been, helpful to go up against a scheme like that in practice every day?
It's been helpful to go against a scheme like that. A lot of teams in the SEC run tempo, and it can hurt somebody. It can hurt the team, or it can be good for a team. If you're good with tempo, then it turns out pretty good. But if you're not, then they're just gonna run up the field on you all day, have explosive plays on you. So it's been good to go against that. I feel like it's helpful since a lot of teams do it.
Tell us a little bit about some of your goals just individually for this season. You mentioned still trying to work on and perfect your technique, but what are your goals from now until the season opener? We're 11 days away from it, but what are you really honing in on these last, several days of camp, less than 2 weeks away?
My goals are just probably I want to get my weight down to at least 305 before the first game and just perfect my technique, especially my stance and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to do.
Good stuff. All right, Jordan. Well, hey, I really appreciate you taking time to chat with me today, man. I know you're busy in preseason camp, balancing everything. So appreciate the time, man. Wishing you a happy and productive season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Jordan Thomas of Gamecock Football. You're listening to the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing here on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Snooze button or choose button? $5 deals at McDonald's give you options. Start your day with the $5 Sausage McMuffin with Egg Extra Value Meal. Or mix and match 2 for $5 and choose your favorites, like a savory hot Sausage McMuffin with egg or a Sausage, Egg, and Cheese McGriddles with that sweet taste of maple. Yee, yum. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price. Promotional pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
How can I help you?
Live agent?
How can I help you?
Live agent!
Stop talking to robots and start talking to Cumulus Digital. When you have questions about your business, you shouldn't have to settle for a virtual person. You need a real local marketing expert who knows your streets and your neighbors. We're right here. For personal service and proven results, visit cumulusdigital.com, fill out the form, and connect to a real person.
Right now, somewhere in America, a student is training, a student is studying, a student is working when nobody is watching. Not for recognition, not for attention, but because excellence is a habit. The 2026 Patriot Games are searching for exceptional students ages 14 to 17. Students ready to compete, ready to lead, ready to show America what they're capable of. $250,000 scholarship prize pool. Applications are open now. Your story, your opportunity, your moment. Applications now open. Freedom250.org. America's next champion could be you.
Hi, my husband and I own a small business in Columbia, and we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton law firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Visit callAAAtoday.com to schedule an appointment. Tell them Preston on the Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Hey, Scott here, inviting you to come see us for the Effie's Fine Jewelry Designer Trunk Show, September 3rd from 10 to 6 at Traditions Fine Jewelers in Lexington. Discover more than 1,000 unique pieces featuring diamonds, precious, and semi-precious gemstones. During the one-day-only event, you'll save 30% and receive a free gift when you spend over $500. Want to save even more? Call Traditions Fine Jewelers and book your appointment in advance to receive an extra 10% off your purchase. Don't miss the FE Designer Trunk Show, September 3rd, only at Traditions Fine Jewelers in Lexington.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff. 11 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast.
These players are battered and exhausted, but you don't hurt like this if you don't care about this team, about this country, about this game.
You can feel the intensity.
The goals, the energy, wow, look at us.
Here in the U.S., I have got some news for you. There's so much more to come. My name is Megan Klingberg, and we're just getting started.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Back in. It is the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler Head, Jack Feltry along with you. You just heard Chris Clark's conversation with Jordan Thomas, transfer defensive lineman from Georgia, going into year number 1 at South Carolina. Chris did tell me that he caught him, after practice yesterday. So a little tired there. Maybe not the most talkative, but a couple of interesting, points to come away from there. Talking about obviously transferring over from Georgia, what he's seen out of this defense. Excited to play for Clayton White, and he's a guy that we've talked about. Jack, that, we wonder how deep this rotation is going to be, and he's one of those guys in that mix of like, okay, do we assume he's going to be one of those guys seeing playing time this year? Yeah, no, totally. I fully anticipate he'll see some playing time this year. Do I think he's a starter right now? I don't know. I mean, I think Gabe Brownlow-Dindy's occupying one of those spots, and then I think the other one probably maybe goes to Troy Pikes or maybe like a Kelby Collins. But I think Jordan Thomas is definitely, like, when you're talking about what the rotation's going to look like, he's definitely one of those guys that will be in there for sure, rotating with the rest of the defensive tackles. And, in talking about Jordan Thomas and looking at the way things break down for that defensive line room, it is the most transfer-heavy position that this team has in terms of guys that we anticipate to play. Because when you talk about the rotation that we know of, right? We know Gabe Dindy's going to play. We know Tomiwa's going to play. Troy Pikes coming back for another year. Kelby Collins, Jordan Thomas, all those guys in via the transfer portal, kind of looked at as your primary 5 guys in that room. Now, we assume Noah Clark's going to be a part of that rotation. That brings you up to 6. We'll see about Caleb Williams. We'll see about Christian Ingram. We'll see about Aiden Harris. But primarily, with the exception of Noah Clark, this is a all-transfer room, basically.
But it's also a pretty deep and older room, too, which I think really is nice. You look at it, like, their main 5 guys that are all transfers at one point or another are outside of Troy Pikes and, well, actually, I take that back. Brownlow Dindy, Pikes, Collins, Tomiwa, and JT are all 30 or above guys.
Yep.
Right? And Tomiwa, Kelby Collins, and Gabe Brownlow Dindy are all seniors. So, yeah, you have a lot of transfers in that room, but a lot of experience in that room, too. And I think that's one of the more experienced groups, maybe not at South Carolina, but in college football in general, like playing at different schools and seeing different things. Yeah, you really can't beat that. So having that, I think, is going to be some added value heading into the season.
And what we've heard through scrimmages, going back to scrimmage number 2 on Saturday, defensive line apparently had a really good day, batting some passes down, not dominating South Carolina's offensive line, but maybe seemed to have the advantage a little bit there. And again, when you look at the fact that you got a lot of guys that have played a lot of college football, now Jordan Thomas has not played a lot of college football, but he's been around the game for a couple years. It makes a lot of sense. And again, we're excited about what that group brings to the table. And much like the offensive line, it all starts up front on the defense as well. And if you can get a defensive line, this counts edge rushers too, that are getting good push, getting good pressure on the quarterback, stuffing the run gaps, and all that kind of stuff, that allows the rest of your defense to be successful. And we believe that, defensive front there in the middle with those experienced guys is going to do a lot of good things this year.
It definitely will help having all those veterans in that room. And honestly, man, I am curious, though, like, how many of those young guys end up seeing the field as well? I think Noah Clark, we've talked about him ad nauseum since the spring. I feel like there's too much talk and hype around this kid, and he's too he's too big in a way where it's like he's a huge defensive tackle. His presence is too much not to have out there, right? I think you have to have him play in some capacity for you this season. Experience or not, he's gonna make an impact, I think, for this team. I do wonder about Aiden Harris. I do wonder about a guy like Christian Ingram as well that you mentioned. I think Harris probably has more of a slight edge. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I feel like we haven't really heard much about Christian Ingram really at all. He redshirted last year. He's got a year in the program already, but I feel like we have not heard his name a ton at all this preseason. But I think this room definitely has enough guys to where they are going to be able to rotate in and out. And I think that's what Travian Robertson wants. I remember him telling me at Burries with Beamer that he doesn't really want guys to separate themselves. He wants them to come together. And I think this is going to be the way that happens, is having enough pieces in there to where, you can rotate like it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, and when you look at, and just kind of talking about these younger guys, we talk about Noah Clark because he brings something different to the table with his size. 6'5", 345, just that big, nasty guy you can plug in the middle there. I believe, was it Tomiwa the other week that said he reminded him of Deone Walker, who played with at Kentucky, which that's a very good comparison and a high praise for somebody as young as Noah Clark is, because he offers a unique body type and skill set of kind of being that, gap plugger type in the middle of your defense. When you look at the other guys, we talked about Aiden Harris yesterday, Caleb Williams and Christian Ingram, they're more of the slimmer, more athletic type of guys, which that's not a bad thing to have, but Clark brings something different to the table, which I think contributes, in addition to his athleticism and what he's done through practices, of why he might be able to find the field a little bit quicker.
Yeah, he's someone that I think should have a chance to make an impact. Like kind of like how we knew Dylan Stewart 2 years ago as a freshman was going to make an impact immediately after that first game against Old Dominion. I think something similar here happens with Clark, to where okay, this kid, like we've talked about him. I think fans will get an understanding that this kid's going to be really, really good for South Carolina. I think we'll learn that pretty early on in the season, where you see this guy and he's tough to block.
I'm excited to see it. Again, he's going to play some kind of role on this team, and we'll see how much he ends up rotating in when the season does get rolling here very, very soon. Only 11 days until kickoff with South Carolina and Kent State. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 2 of the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Some old guys in college football. Who's still hanging around? What names have you forgotten about that are still playing college football? We'll tell you about that coming up next. It is the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing on your Tuesday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Tyler Head from 107.5 Game and the Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
So the Cleveland Browns are starting Deshaun Watson week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The jokes write themselves. The Cleveland Browns don't get it, and clearly Deshaun Watson doesn't get it. He thinks the Browns fans are out to get him. He thinks the boos are personal. It's about performance, baby. You didn't perform. What do you expect the Browns fans to do? I'm just trying to...
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Hey, it's Tyler Reddick from 2311 Racing. Most slot games are a solo lap. Slot Masters on Chumba Casino puts you on the grid with 2 other players. Battle it out over a 2-minute run. Everyone's spinning at once, points stacking up, and the leaderboard updating before the clock hits 0. Are you ready to race? With over 200 casino-style games and new ones dropping every week, there's always something new to line up for. Join the fun at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in the state where it's legal to play.
University of Maryland Global Campus offers more than 50 flexible online certificates that provide short-term credentials and real-world skills you can use immediately, with a range of affordable undergraduate and graduate certificates in high-demand fields like business, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and healthcare. You can earn credentials quickly to help advance your career. No application fee if you apply by September 1st. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used a trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states or situations.
The best time to recommit to your gut health goals? Right now. Take charge of your gut with Nature Made. Our clinically studied ingredients support digestive health. Digestive enzymes break down nutrients. Probiotic and prebiotic fiber nourish good gut bacteria. And super greens with probiotics empower daily digestive health. Try the full lineup of gut health support from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler and Jack wrapping up the hour here on your Tuesday on the Game. We'll get some old guys in college football coming up in just a moment, but we've been talking about quarterback battles being decided around the SEC, and earlier this morning, Vanderbilt also announced their quarterback decision. Blaze Berlowitz is going to get the Week 1 start for the Commodores, not Jared Curtis, the five-star quarterback coming in to this year. His first year at Vanderbilt after flipping his commitment from Georgia to Vandy right at the end of the recruiting cycle last year. I will say, Jack, I'm not surprised by this. Berlowitz has been around college ball for a while, originally at New Mexico State before transferring into Vanderbilt. I think Curtis is going to get his opportunity, much like we talk about some of these other position or other battles like, Vizina and Tate Reynolds. The belief is Tate Reynolds is eventually going to take over, and no reason to think Jared Curtis won't eventually get his shot at Vanderbilt, just not immediately.
I think it would have made a lot more sense to play Curtis right away because of the games that you have on your schedule. Like, you're playing Austin Peay, you're playing Delaware, you get NC State at home, which I think is a huge game, and then SEC play kicks up after that. So I think it would have been good to get him some starting experience, just some experience in general right away. But he'll probably still play a lot in those first two games of the year. But not naming him the starter, I think, is a little bit of a surprise because why else would you go to Vanderbilt? Like, I get it, hometown guy and whatnot, but he passed up going to Georgia to where he probably would have been a backup for sure this year with Gunnar Stockton back, and who knows if he ever makes it at Georgia, right? I mean, he came to Vanderbilt to be the guy, so I think it's a little surprising that they ended up going with Berlowitz, but hey, look, it's all competition at the end of the day, and if Curtis didn't play as well as Berlowitz here in preseason camp, then so be it.
Yeah, again, I expect Jared Curtis will get that job at some point this year, but at least for week number 1, Blaze Berlowitz is the starter. Heading down to the Sun Belt now, Georgia Southern has named their starting quarterback, Max Johnson. Yes, Max Johnson still playing college football. His first season, 2020. So he came in the year after LSU won the national championship for Ed Orgeron, and he's been in college football ever since. He's bounced around from LSU, Texas A&M, North Carolina, dealt with a lot of injuries, which is the reason why he's still playing college football at this point in time. But that's a name that I think a lot of people maybe haven't thought about in a couple years because he was primarily a backup for North Carolina last year, but getting a shot to be Todd Helton's quarterback down at Southern now in Statesboro.
Todd Helton?
Clay Helton.
It's okay.
No relation.
Yeah, I was like, Todd Helton. I know he played football for the Vols, but he's coaching.
Not that
now?
Coach Helton.
No, not that one. Clay Helton. But yeah, 25 years old. Just turned 25 on July 25th. Yeah, he's a year younger than me. Like, I just turned 26 back in July. Yep. So what are we doing here? Well, I don't get it. I don't get it. But hey, somehow with all the injuries and whatnot, yeah, if you have another year of eligibility, I guess it checks out. I don't know. I mean, he played 2 seasons in North Carolina, 2 seasons at Texas A&M, 2 years at LSU. This guy is kind of becoming, I saw a funny tweet because I think him and TJ Finley came in together at the same time.
They did.
And we know Finley, he played for like every school to make the color of the rainbow happen for him, like kind of like how Shaq did in the NBA. But yeah, it's crazy that he's played as long as he has, dating all the way back to 2020. This is his 7th season of college football. That's utterly ridiculous.
I follow Max Johnson's career closer than a lot of people do, probably because I met him back in high school when I was doing some high school football stuff, when I was in college, because he went to Oconee County, which is right next to the University of Georgia. So I met this kid back in the spring of 2018. I think as he was going into his junior year of high school at that point in time. So I've been around and known this kid known about this kid for a very long time. So seeing that he's still in college football 8 years later is really crazy. Again, he's dealt with the injuries and all that kind of stuff, which is understandable. I hope this sticks for him. I hope this is a good opportunity and that he can lead Georgia Southern to some success, because it's been an up and down college career for him. But I also understand it, right? Because his prospects at the pro level, especially with his injuries, probably not very high. No. So he can go to a place like Georgia Southern. I don't know what they're paying him. He's probably making, I don't know, maybe six figures considering what he was as a recruit coming out of high school. So he's making decent money, I'm sure, down there at Statesboro. Gets an opportunity to play, competitive football still. And again, I wish him the best of luck and hope he succeeds, because it's been a rocky career for him, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see what happens with him.
Now, he does have an interesting distinction. Now, I don't know if anybody else can claim this as far as being a starting quarterback, because he's started for 3 different national championship head coaches in Ed Orgeron, Jimbo Fisher, and Mac Brown. I don't know if anybody else can claim that in the history of college football.
I don't know either on that one. It's really interesting. And, I mean, honestly, just played for some pretty good coaches there.
And most recently played for Bill Belichick, which not a great college coach, but Super Bowl champion nonetheless.
A legendary coach. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no doubt. One other person that's actually been in college football longer is linebacker Muhammad Torrey from Miami. He's been around since 2019, was a big part of that Miami team that played for a national championship a year ago. He also dealt with injuries for 2 different seasons when he was at Rutgers in 2022 and 2024. But, yeah, he is quite literally among the oldest players in college football right now, as the Athletic put out their geezer list over the summer, and nobody prior to 2019 is still hanging around. So Muhammad Torrey, one of the oldest, still playing.
How is he only 24 years old and got into college football a year before Max Johnson? He must have reclassified or something.
Or it could be like when your birthday falls a certain way.
Yeah,
you can be like a younger I was.
But dude, he would have been. So he was born in 2002.
Yeah.
He would have been in 2019.
So he would have been 17 as a freshman.
That's pretty early.
Yeah. Now it could have been reclassifying, which that wasn't as common back then. But it could have just been, hey, your birthday falls a certain way, so you're a year younger than most people in your class. Like I was not that young, but I was one of my few friends in high school that didn't turn 18 before he graduated. Like I was 17 all the way through my senior year of high school because of the way my birthday fell. But some people, it's even different, where I have a friend who started college when she was 17, didn't turn 18 until basically a month in. So where your birthday falls really has an effect on that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, totally. So
a lot of old guys still hang around college football, though.
Just crazy. 2019. So would he have been a class of 2018 guy out of high school? I'm gonna look it up real quick.
No,
or maybe he was a class of 2019.
Your class represents the year you come in. So
yeah, class of 2019.
Now he would have, because he originally went to Rutgers. Yeah. He would have, if he signed on early signing day, he would have signed on the first ever early signing day back in December of 2018.
God, it's just
going into the 2019 year.
Like he would have graduated from high school the same year as my fiance. That's just. I think that puts into perspective just we do not need all. I hope we get to a point where we don't have these problems anymore. And I think that's what this whole NCAA 5-for-5 thing's going to be about.
I think we won't have these, but who knows? There's probably some lawsuits coming down the road at some point.
Probably.
So we'll see what happens. But yes, a lot of old guys still hanging around college football. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour up next on your Tuesday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, everybody, let's tell you about our friends over at Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. As always, the presenting sponsor of the Garnet Trust Hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays here on the Game. Krantz Cooling and Heating has been providing great HVAC services to Midlands residents and businesses since 1983. And now that same great service that you're accustomed to for your heating and your air conditioning now applies to the plumbing line. You can hit them up at 803-672-3224. You can also go to their website at krantzcooling.com. That's Krantz, cooling with a K.com. You can text them directly from their website. Let them know about what HVAC issues you're seeing at your home or business, what plumbing problems you're having. They'll schedule an appointment, come out, take care of it. Shout out to Justin Krantz, the general manager there. They do an incredible job. They've been out to my home in Wes's. Let them come out to yours. KrantzCooling.com.
Hey, Gamecock fans. Tom Reek with South Carolina Lumber and Supply in Casey, South Carolina. Whether it's an accent wall or a full house remodel, we have everything you'll need. From high grade to low grade, we have 1x6 8-foot shiplap starting at $4 a board. Come check us out at 2245 Julius Felder Street in Casey, South Carolina. We're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Come see us. Phone number is 803-608-3097. Again, that's 803-608-3097. Go Gamecocks.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Stressed about visualizing your home remodel? You're not alone. Planning a new space shouldn't feel like a guessing game. At CHW Cabinetry, we've taken custom design to a whole new level. Our ultra photorealistic renderings leave nothing to the imagination, giving you total peace of mind before construction even starts. Plus, we equip your contractors with a complete job site book packed with detailed drawings and exact specifications, ensuring a smooth, hassle-free installation. Take the guesswork out of your dream home. Visit chwcabinetry.com today and see your vision come to life.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head.
To the house!
On 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
$11 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on The Game. Tyler Head, Wes Mitchell, and Chris Clark along with you as we navigate you through almost the middle part of the week. We hear from Coach Beamer today at 1 o'clock, which you can listen to on the halftime show. And, this is the last time we hear from him ahead of game week. This time next week, we'll officially be preparing for Kent State coming up next Saturday. 11 days until kickoff, guys. I know I say it every day, but 1 day closer, and then we're off and running until late November. I'm counting down to week 0. And in fact, if you really want to do some advanced scouting, Towson plays on Thursday night this week. So you can get some FCS action ahead of week 0 on Saturday and see South Carolina's week 2 opponent in action on Thursday. Yep. That's right. Now, Wes, since you brought it up, in week 0, 2 years from now, you're going to have to pay attention to it because we've learned Carolina will play Bowling Green in week 0 of 2028, and this is Wes's worst nightmare come to life. Well, by the time we get there, that could actually be just week number 1 because at some point college football is going to have to move the calendar up, it seems like. And, you could be ahead of the curve or maybe, I don't know, Carolina could be playing on August 19th instead in 2028 if they end up moving up week 0 instead. Like the... You're talking about for next year's schedule? There should be, as far as I know, because this is one of the years, and next year as well, where the way the calendar falls, your opening weekend is in September. Like week number 1 is September 5th this year for South Carolina, where like last year it was August 31st, I think. Just kind of depends on the way the calendar falls. I think by the time we get to 2028, it kind of flips back to where week number 1 would be like the first couple days of September as opposed to like the 4th or 5th. It just kind of depends on where the calendar falls every year. Yes, they do. And then old Dow Loggins and App State roll into town. That's assuming Dow Loggins is still the coach there. So, just, you never know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. Huge one. You think Beamer called him about Ethan Johnson? Be like, hey, got a chance to get this guy out of the portal. What you think? I imagine there was some kind of contact, right? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he'll talk about it today. Again, he speaks at 1 o'clock, and we'll have to be asked about Ethan Johnson and bring him on as an addition to the South Carolina defense and what that process is going to look like in integrating him into everything. But, guys, we're 11 days away from South Carolina playing against Kent State. Our 11 days until kickoff. Guys naming dudes. We went through some of them yesterday, but who are our 11s to know?
They need a touchdown. And didn't they throw like 3 straight jump balls for Lamar Scruggs on a fade ball, as I recall?
I think what's the word called though when you take two memories and you combine them?
Yeah, am I combining like we're gonna try to throw it to Alshon 3 times in a row, and I mixed it up with they tried like one jump ball to Lamar Scruggs?
Here, all right. I think I actually, for no points at all, but I think I know exactly what you're combining.
Okay.
You're combining 3 straight jump balls to Alshon at Alabama, in like 2009, the year before Carolina knocks off number 1 Bama.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kentucky game that South Carolina just blew after beating Alabama, the week after beating Alabama, South Carolina goes to Kentucky, has a lead, blows the game. They have one last shot at the end zone, and, Alshon Jeffrey is on this team. Whoever, I don't remember what the other receivers were. Lamar Scruggs was not playing a major role in this team. And I feel like maybe the final pass ended up towards Lamar Scruggs. Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yeah. I couldn't remember if it was 1, 2, 3, but yeah.
The 3 straight fade balls was definitely to Alshon at Alabama, and none of them hit, I don't think.
Somehow. Not a terrible idea, by the way. But nonetheless, they didn't hit. All right, Tyler.
All right. Well, the question does not relate to Lamar Scruggs, unfortunately. It is a Pharaoh Cooper question.
That's where I did all my research.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you might be able to get this one. All right. What is the one game where Pharaoh Cooper had a receiving, rushing, and passing touchdown in his South Carolina career?
Tennessee.
Wes?
Dadgummit, Chris.
Well, and now I'm second guessing myself a little bit because there's one more game. I think it's Tennessee, though.
I think it is Tennessee as well.
You want to throw out a backup?
I'm going to throw out a backup because he said it first. So a little game theory here. He would still get the point if I said Tennessee. Does he have to give the year?
Sure. Yeah, give me the year too.
2014.
Okay.
Dadgummit. Yeah. I will say Clemson 20. Hold on.
Wait for it.
2013.
Tennessee 2014 is the correct answer. Carolina lost that game in overtime 45-42. Stats on the day: 11 receptions for 233 yards, 2 touchdown catches, 3 rushes for 23 yards and 1 touchdown. And then, let's see here, 1 passing, where's his attempts? 1 for 2 passing for 30 yards and 1 touchdown as well.
Okay.
4 total touchdowns on the game. Now, here's your chance for some bonus points, Chris. You ready?
Oh, okay.
Or both of you.
Some
either
points?
How many? Wait, half a point.
Okay.
Both of us have a shot at this, right?
Both of you have a shot at this. Can you?
But I got the most ground to make up.
Can you tell me how those 4 specific touchdowns were scored?
Against Tennessee?
Yes.
Well, what do you mean? Because he ran for 1, threw for 1. What are the specifics?
You kind of already gave it away there.
Can you tell me in order how he did this? Maybe that's the better way to ask it.
No, I can't give you the order. The touchdown pass was a long pass. That one seemed to be late. Give me rushing, passing, and receiving. That'll be my order.
Okay.
Is that what you want? That's what you're looking for?
He had 2 receiving, right?
He had 2 receiving.
Okay.
So are you going with both of them coming late?
Give me receiving, rushing, passing, and receiving.
Okay. Wes, you have a different answer?
Oh, man. I'm trying to remember this game, guys. I remember a deep ball like down the middle of the field late in this game from Dylan Thompson. Was that the last one?
I felt like it was.
I'm going to say ran it in. What did you say, Chris?
I said receiving, rushing, passing, receiving. That's
Okay.
the order
I'm going to say ran it in, receiving, passing, receiving.
Not quite. It is rushing, passing, receiving. Had an 11-yard touchdown in the first quarter on a run, threw a 30-yard touchdown to Brandon Wilds in the second quarter, and then caught 2 touchdowns, one in the late third from Dylan Thompson, and then the long one early fourth from Dylan Thompson.
Wait, so he scored in each quarter, too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That is...
What a game.
Man, that offense was so good at times, but the defense was not. The opposite. Let me give Wes the opportunity for a half point, just because I really wanted to ask this question, because I hope you were asking.
Chris, as soon as you start closing the gap, you're given the opportunity to pull away again.
I feel like this is a question that must be asked, and I want to see if Wes can get it, and I will be very impressed if he gets it.
All right.
Farrah Cooper he just gave you one. Farrah Cooper had 4 touchdown passes in his career. Who were the recipients of those touchdown passes?
Ooh.
It's a good question, right? Half point.
That's a tough question.
It's a tough question.
He had 4?
He had 4.
All right, Brandon Wilds twice. Dylan Thompson. And... Oh, God. Jarrell Adams.
So close. You got 3 of them. Brandon Wilds twice. Dylan Thompson. The other, Perry Orth.
So close.
Yeah, good try.
I made a good run at that one. I'll take it.
Run. Yeah, you would have earned that half point. So
should have gone with the Earthquake, man.
Yeah.
Well, the Wilds are, that one I knew. Dylan, I just felt like that happened. 4th one, complete and total wild guess.
Yep.
All right.
Good effort.
Well, Chris, you've narrowed the gap to 1.5. Wes leads 23.5 to 22, with now 8 more days until we settle this thing next week.
Okay. All right. I'm feeling better.
It's coming down to the nitty-gritty, that's for sure. We'll get back into some South Carolina football for this season coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Tuesday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Integrated Media. Hit up integratedmediainc.com for way more information about all the great services they have throughout the Midlands. They've been to my house. They've been to Chris's house. Let them come to your house as well and upgrade your football viewing experience while we're doing the countdown to football for, just giggles here on the show. You need to know that countdown, because that is your countdown before you need to upgrade your football viewing experience. 803-948-8327 is the phone number. If you head on over to integratedmediainc.com, you can get way more information about all the great things they've done at homes around the Midlands. That could be as simple as hanging your TV, hiding the wires, introducing some surround sound, running Ethernet, or going all in on that home theater system. Again, that's our friends over at Integrated Media at integratedmediainc.com.
Dave's Hot Chicken stands out by doing one thing exceptionally well: serving crave-worthy hand-breaded hot chicken packed packed with bold flavor. Dave's fresh hand-breaded chicken tenders and sliders packed with bold flavor and 7 spice levels ranging from no spice to the legendary Reaper. Crave-worthy sides including seasoned fries, kale slaw, mac and cheese, and Dave's sauce. Dave's focused menu, generous portions, and energetic atmosphere create a unique experience customers remember. Plus, Dave's Hot Chicken on Divine Street in Columbia and Broad Street in Sumter are locally owned and operated by Built Different Brands. They believe great restaurants should serve both great food and their communities. You'll love everything about the bold personality of Dave's Hot Chicken and their people-first hospitality. Don't miss out on this sweet deal from Dave's Hot Chicken in Columbia and Sumter. Beginning this Friday at 9 a.m., head to 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals to get a $50 gift certificate to Dave's Hot Chicken for just $25.
Football fans, it's almost time to draft your team and kick off another season. This year, take your fantasy football draft party to Twin Peaks, where cold drinks, made from scratch food, and wall-to-wall TVs make your local lodge the ultimate draft day headquarters. Round up your league, grab a table, and get ready for the picks, the rivalries, and a full season of bragging rights. Whether you're defending your title or drafting for the first time, start your fantasy season at Twin Peaks. Book your fantasy football draft party at your local lodge today.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Learn what it takes to solve your tax problems for good. Take that first step to a better future. Call me, John Ecton.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Tuesday on the Game. Tyler West, Chris, along with you here, inching closer to the start of the college football season. This is the point where a lot of people throwing out things like record projections for teams, and it's exactly what Josh Pate did on his show the other night, where he went through the entire SEC and gave his thoughts on what each team's record is going to be this upcoming season, including South Carolina. Here's what he had to say about the Gamecocks.
South Carolina. To me, it's the toughest team to figure out in the league. South Carolina is incredibly difficult to figure out. For example, if I were to go to the best case, worst case route, 4-8 and 10-2 are both outcomes that I would look at and say, yeah, those are kind of the bookends. Those are the extreme edges of the possibility meter. Because if Lenora Sellers really does just seamlessly plug into this Kendall Browse offense, and the impact players that they've missed from time to time in spring and fall due to injury are good to go for the season. Like if I'm not listening to practice report after practice report about the availability of Dylan Stewart, if I'm not questioning the wide receiver room's development behind Nick Harbor, if all that stuff falls into place, they could be a really good team. Like this is the kind of team that if you're looking for the dark horse contender type, is a potential dark horse contender type, but we can't do that. We can't ignore that Dylan Stewart's availability has been in question. We can't ignore the injury concerns in general there. We can't ignore that what we're banking on here is a QB to plug into an offense that, even if it does look promising, and even if he does love how he conceptually fits into it, he hasn't played in. I've got to take all that into consideration. I'm going 7-5 with South Carolina. I don't feel great about nailing myself down on this one, only because I feel like this could go two radically different directions. So 7-5, write it in very light pencil. Don't feel great about that one.
So I don't want to focus as much on what his actual record projection is there at 7-5. The thing that he said at the very beginning, that South Carolina is maybe one of the hardest teams to figure out in this conference because of all those variables that he listed. And yes, every team, especially in a portal era like we're living in, has a lot of variables and unknowns going into the year. But Carolina maybe has just about more than anybody with the what ifs. And if this happens, then that happens. If this guy's healthy, then this means that. And I can understand why somebody from a national standpoint would look at this team and say, yeah, ceiling's maybe 10-2, but floor could still be 4-8 if things don't go right.
Yeah, and I think the word of the offseason, should maybe be variance. And that is like, man, really across the league, certainly with South Carolina, but I think there's a lot of other teams that fall in this category too, in terms of the just array of outcomes that really would not be that surprising. And, I think that's a fair assessment by Josh Pate. I think at the end of the day, he kind of took the positive end and then added in, kind of all the concerns that he mentioned there. And he kind of split the difference, I think. And I think most of his record predictions, he kind of did something similar. Maybe he, depending on gut feel or what he deems important, adjusted up or adjusted down. But it sounds like he kind of, went about it like, what's the best case? What's the worst case? And then I either split the difference or adjust up or down. And, I do think Josh Pate is usually like pretty fair about South Carolina. Not all national guys necessarily are. I think he tries to be very fair about it. I think he likes Beamer, and, I think he respects the program. Now, I will say this, and this is not a Josh thing, it's about an everybody thing. Certain teams, if you had the same conversation, more often than not, will get the benefit of the doubt and get the adjustment up. Whereas, I feel like Florida has been getting the adjustment up for forever, and it hasn't played out that way on the field. So, will South Carolina adjust up or adjust down? In reality, ultimately, it's going to come down to that thing we talk about all the time, is the margin for error on all these close football games you're going to play. And really, predictions are funny. People get all ticked off about them when they go back and look. You idiot, you had this, you had that. Well, ultimately, it really does come down to who wins those tight games, I think.
Yeah, Florida, by the way, did get the adjustment up. Also a 4-8 team, breaking in a new coach. Also a team that has talent returning. They got 8-4, and really, guys, doesn't matter. We'll see what happens, right? Not worth getting all bent out of shape about. But I thought the questions that were brought up were very valid, right? Like, everything's on paper. You have to have all these things hit, right? The coaching changes, they have to matter on the field. We think that they'll matter, like, to what degree they have to hit. The transfers that you brought in, they have to plug holes. The guys that they brought back that you think can take the next step have to take the next step. Of course, as with any team, you have to stay healthy. I think Josh, it would be easy to take South Carolina and have the lazy take and say, okay, they were 4-8 last year. They'll probably be 4-8 again, or 5-7, whatever. Don't really like South Carolina. Don't see what the hoopla is about. But I think there's a recognition that, like, this team should have been better last year. Like, the reason that South Carolina was 4-8, by and large, was they had one of the worst offenses in the country, right? And you don't have to stretch to say, okay, if they could have been average on offense and scored a single point in a few of the 8 games that they did not score a single point in the fourth quarter, this team could have won 6, 7, 8 games, like, easily. They're winning 3 games that they lost in the fourth quarter. They were in range, in most of the games that they played, with just a couple exceptions, right? So, when you bake all that in, if you project, hey, I think South Carolina is going to be, at least average offensively, maybe they'll be better than average. The defense should be pretty good again. We'll see what special teams holds. They've got a schedule that, sure, is challenging, but also has some games on it that you would probably say South Carolina should win those games. So, yeah, I think Josh kind of split the difference there with some of the, I agree, Wes, with some of the questions, not being totally sure. It is a hard team to figure out. I think everybody's really hard to figure out. Like you look at Alabama. Where did Josh have Bama? 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe Alabama's one of, if not the youngest teams in the SEC. I feel like nobody's talking about that, and that matters right now, especially in the portal era. So, are they getting a little bit of the Bama bump because they're talented and all those things? I mean, probably so.
Well, and I think it's easy to look at a team like Carolina, and Beamer, brought this up at media days when he was talking about everybody doubting them, coming into this year. Like, hey, we're bringing back the same collection of talent in a lot of ways from last year. The same team that everybody thought was going to be good last year that wasn't, and now aren't projecting to be as good, compared to a year ago. And it's just a tough thing to figure out. And I think also, as Pate alluded to there, one of your star players in Dylan Stewart is coming into this year dealing with an injury once again, a back injury, which those things persist. They don't just go away and you're back to 100%. That is something that could crop up throughout the season. We hope not, obviously, but that is something you do have to worry about at a very important position like edge. So I think there's a question of how effective is Dylan Stewart going to be if he's dealing with this year, that obviously has a profound effect on how good this team can be.
Yeah, and I think, a huge part of last year, it just is what it is, man. Like, the issues they had on offense, how much of that was based on the offensive coordinator, frankly. And I think that gets a little bit lost in all this. Like, yeah, we're talking about the talent. We're talking about the guys that were back, the guys that aren't. And, the other part of it is a football team is not 3 players or 4 players or whatever, whoever the guys that everybody at SEC Media Days knows of for South Carolina. A football team is all the other guys that we talk about and know about here locally. So, yes, a Lenore Sellers, a healthy Dylan Stewart, a Nick Harbor, if he keeps taking a jump, that raises, like, the ceiling of what you can be as a team, because those are potential, like, difference makers. But you want to raise the floor, that's about, hey, did they fix this O-line? Or the running backs taking a step? What does your depth look like? Those are all things that go well beyond just the 3 or 4 names the national guys know.
Well, as South Carolina navigates its schedule this year, it's going to be facing a lot of young quarterbacks. We'll dive into what specific ones they'll see this year coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Tuesday on the Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
All right, everybody, let's tell you about our friends over at Firehouse Subs. We will be at the Main Street location on South Carolina's campus on Thursday, 9 to noon. Can't wait to be out there. Check out some Firehouse Subs. See our guy, Larry. Shout out to him. And if you're getting hungry like I am, check out Firehouse Subs today. You can start earning from Sub 1 with the Firehouse Rewards programs. Earn points, redeem rewards, get exclusive deals like birthday rewards, and up to $10 off of your first order when you join today. That's the Firehouse Subs app or firehousesubs.com. Make sure you check out their new smoking honey melt, flame seared shaved steak, or grilled chicken breast, combined with a duo of red and green peppers, caramelized onions, melted provolone, chipotle honey dressing, and mayo, all in a toasted sub roll, protein packed and drizzled with the new chipotle honey sauce. That's Firehouse Subs or the Firehouse Subs app.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire Automotive.
Maybe it's 250 degrees right now in honor of America's 250th birthday.
So, come to Pope Davis for our All-American Star Spangled, Red, White, and Blue, Freedom Eagle AC Special.
$50 off charging your AC or $200 off if you need your compressor replaced.
That's really giving ice cold.
This offer only good while it's still really freaking hot outside or until August 31st.
Bet.
Visit us online at popedavistire.com.
Something big is coming. On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive deals, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun. All roads lead to Game Day. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. That means South Carolina, from Texas to California to Florida. Every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states. DraftKings Game Day is yours. Remember the date, September 2nd. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 1075TheGame, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code 1075TheGame. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. For terms, go to dkng.co/predictions promo. Nationwide based on sportsbook, predictions, and free-to-play sports contest availability. Varies by state.
Visit the go-to spot for dining in downtown Columbia. Step into the Golden Spur, the official restaurant of the University of South Carolina. From bold, crave-worthy lunches to elevated dinners, plus handcrafted cocktails that hit every time. The Golden Spur brings the flavor every visit. Planning something special? From celebrations to business gatherings, their private dining and event spaces set the perfect scene. The Golden Spur, where campus meets community. Located at 700 Lincoln Street, right across from Colonial Life Arena. Come see what everyone's talking about.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Joe Sandifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff. 11 days away.
Hendrick. The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Tuesday here on The Game. Tyler, Wes, and Chris along with you, as Chris just reminded you a moment ago. Thursday, going to be out at Firehouse Subs from 9 until noon at the USC campus location at 633 Main Street. Come by and hang out with us as we get you set for week 0, and we'll be 9 days away from South Carolina starting its season against Kent State at that point in time. As we get closer to the start of the season, we're starting to learn who starting quarterbacks are going to be for teams around not only the SEC, but the country. Earlier on this morning, Vanderbilt named Blaise Berlowitz their starting quarterback for week 1 over Jared Curtis. Now, that's not a team that's on South Carolina's schedule, but in the past couple days, we've learned about Keelan Russell starting for Alabama. We've learned about Aaron Philo starting for Florida, and Faison Brandon yesterday being announced as the starter for Tennessee. So out of the 10 Power 4 teams that South Carolina will see this year, 9 of them have officially named a starting quarterback, Clemson being the one exception, though it's believed Chris Vizina will probably be the starter for week 1 against LSU, though by the time Carolina plays them, who knows, Tate Reynolds could have taken over at that point in time. But as we look at the schedule of known starters in the SEC this year. South Carolina will only play 3 quarterbacks right now that have more than 3 career starts in college football, that being Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, John Mateer at Oklahoma, and then Marcel Reed at Texas A&M. Everybody else has 2 or fewer starts in college football going into this year. So that means Carolina, compared to last year, playing a lot less experienced quarterbacks this upcoming season in college football that hopefully could play to their advantage.
Yeah, a little bit of a youth movement, I feel like, in the SEC at quarterback. And, you know, it's kind of funny because we've all talked about how much experience and, you know, just pure age is important in college football now. Everybody went into the portal to try to get older because of what Indiana did last year. And, you know, most of the teams that have been really, really good the last couple of years have had just some version of maybe experience compared to traditional college football teams. However, you know, when you do have highly touted, like, young players that are ready to play, especially at the quarterback position, it seems like everybody is trying to do everything they can to go ahead and insert those guys into your lineup and get them out there and get them playing and just bring them up to speed, because I think schools, coaches, coordinators, they all know, man, the 4-star, 5-star kid, he ain't waiting until his what used to be redshirt sophomore year to go play anymore. So if you have a Keelan Russell and you think he's your future, you just play him. You just do. And, you know, I think it's kind of a very interesting to me dichotomy that while, yes, we're getting older in some ways in college football, we're also getting younger in some positions, you know, in terms of it's almost like you're either a senior or a freshman if you're playing, just because of just the way teams are built now from a roster construction standpoint.
Yeah, and like you're seeing that at Clemson. You mentioned it, Tyler, with Christopher Vizina, Tate Reynolds. You know, I think they're using that staff up there, using Tate Reynolds to try to have someone clipping at the heels of Christopher Vizina, but also there might be a recognition that, like, hey, if Tate Reynolds ends up at some point in the season being better, yeah, he might make more mistakes, but, like, he gives you a higher upside, right? So go ahead and playing that young guy and trying to kind of build around them. But I think it's interesting that the three teams that you mentioned, Tyler, that have the quarterbacks with the most experience in Georgia and then Oklahoma and Texas A&M, probably also, in my opinion, the 3 most difficult games for South Carolina this year. And it's not just because of the quarterback. I think those are potentially really good teams around the quarterback, but the quarterback is a reason, right? If we were sitting here saying, all right, Oklahoma, they got a really good roster, their defense should be really salty, but they have a true freshman or a quote-unquote redshirt freshman at quarterback, or the same for Georgia, or the same for, you know, Texas A&M. Marcel Reed is not the Marcel Reed that we saw at Williams-Brice Stadium a couple years ago, right? He might not even be the guy we saw. Hopefully, he's for South Carolina, he's not the second half version that we saw last year, but all accounts there that they feel like he's taken another step there. So if you have a really good roster and you have the quarterback experience where maybe you're going to minimize some of those first-year mistakes and hit your layups, so to speak, that can really, really help you. And I think if you're trying to look for South Carolina's path, well, there's one there. You know, you have a quarterback who's now been a starter for multiple years and has been through some of those battles. You have a roster around him that's experienced. You're facing a lot of teams that are playing quarterbacks who are very, very young, especially the ones you play in the first half of the season before they've gotten a lot of experience. And I think we can all go through and pick some games, some recent games, where if you go look at it, South Carolina has benefited from playing teams that have young quarterbacks. Kentucky last year at home is a great example of that, but there are many others where, you know, things maybe were fairly even between the teams, but the quarterback play made a difference because you had a guy out there making mistakes. So if you're looking for a path for South Carolina, can you make your experience at quarterback matter relative to some of these other programs who are breaking in newer guys?
So Carolina will play 2 road games in the first 6 games of the regular season, going to Alabama and then going to Florida right before the bye week. Does the fact that you're playing 2 still unproven quarterbacks, now Keelan Russell will have 3 starts by then, Aaron Philo will have 5 starts by then, but the fact you're going on the road, taking on a team, now, it is in their home venue, obviously. That's going to help them out a little bit, but not taking on, it's a guy with 30 starts or 25 starts or whatever. Does that change your perception of how you look at those games now?
I think so to an extent. The other side is, I think on paper right now, yes. Now, Keelan Russell, even by week 4, we may be going, this guy's the next big thing, Like on average, like some of these guys will probably prove, man, I'm like they're ready, like they are him, so to speak. But you look at, and I do think it helps for those younger guys that it will be home games for them. I think that is much different from coming to Willie B. Now the other side of it, if you are, if you're Faison Brandon and you are coming to Columbia, that is the week after Tennessee plays Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. And, I think that, funny enough, because we all know what happened last time those guys came to Columbia, and that will be talked about a ton leading up to that game, even though it has no effect whatsoever on this year's game. But I think that one kind of sets up a little bit well for South Carolina. Yes, by then he will have, a bunch of starts, relatively a bunch of starts under his belt compared to week 1 or week 2 where he's really filling things out. But I think that sets up kind of well for Carolina. So, this is all the schedules are going to be tough, man. Like if you're in the SEC and if you're South Carolina, you are going to play teams that just have more talent than you. And, I think, though, compared to some of the other recent ones, this could, especially if those young guys show, they're not quite ready and they're having to learn on the job, then, yes, this sets up pretty dang well for you compared to some others. I mean, guys, I was trying to kind of take the schedule and break it up. You have to beat the teams like Kentucky, Arkansas, and Mississippi State, and you have to hit your layups, your free throws to start the season. If you do that, that's 5 wins right there. So then you take those other 7. Can you go 4-3? Can you go 3-4? What does that look like? But in a bunch of those games is where we are talking about young, inexperienced quarterbacks playing for Tennessee, playing for Alabama, and playing for Florida. So how does that affect the way people look at this team? I don't know, but the schedule doesn't feel – it's daunting, but not quite as daunting maybe as it has been because of that.
Well, we'll see if playing a lot of younger quarterbacks does benefit South Carolina as they get into the season, particularly against Power 4 teams starting in week number 3. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the hour. One conference putting its foot down against NFL players returning to college. We'll tell you about that coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Tuesday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100. That's 803-404-6100. And we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
So there's a very good chance Giancarlo Stanton has played his last game as a New York Yankee. And look, he didn't play a whole lot of games. Regular season performance, you'd say, didn't earn his contract. When you play for the Yankees, the postseason counts for a little bit more. Just saying. I don't know about you. You're a Yankee fan. You value what guys do in the month of October. I'm John Jastrzemski.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Risa can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
All right, y'all, I want to tell you about something that has really benefited me in the past as well as Wes, and that is the SC Education Lottery. You can learn more about them, of course, online. But did you know, since 2002, over $9.4 billion in lottery proceeds have been appropriated to benefit educational causes in the state of South Carolina. Not only scholarships, but school buses and technology initiatives. Playing for fun is a win for education. More than 2.8 million lottery-funded scholarships have been appropriated in the state of South Carolina, such as the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellows scholarships. And as I mentioned earlier, when I went to the University of South Carolina, I was a beneficiary of the Life Scholarship. Again, since 2002, over $9.4 billion in lottery proceeds appropriated, 2.8 million lottery-funded scholarships, Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellows scholarships through the SC Education Lottery.
Surprise. Wait, do I know you? You use your Discover Cashback card to earn 5% cashback on restaurants all quarter.
Yeah.
Now, it's payback time.
Whoa, hold on.
Go ahead.
Oh, you mean my Discover Cashback.
I told you there'd be payback.
You know, you have a weird way of delivering good news.
I'm working on that.
Activate and earn 5% cash back at different categories each quarter on up to $1,500 in purchases.
Terms apply. See discover.com/5 for details.
Save 20% at Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. And suddenly, your home's a fall destination. You start greeting guests like they're checking into a bed and breakfast, offering foliage tours of the new throw on the couch, and suggesting local attractions like your Martha Stewart Dutch oven. Save on fall prep and more at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. 5 stars. Put shop again. Select styles. Offer ends August 30th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, wrapping up hour number 3 here on your Wednesday. It's Tuesday on the game. I don't even know what day of the week it is. A lot going on in the world of college sports, guys, including this dynamic of college players going back, or NFL players going back to college. A couple guys in Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris headed back to LSU, or back to college to play for LSU after being on NFL rosters. Wes, I'm not sure if this violates your no litigation rule or not, but the Big Ten earlier on this morning is believed to be working on a rule that will prevent college players or prevent players from the NFL coming back to college. This is per Pete Thamel. Says sources, the Big Ten is set to pass a rule today that doesn't allow players to return from the NFL and play for a Big Ten school. Anyone who has declared for the NFL and did not withdraw, appeared on an NFL roster, or signed a contract with a pro league cannot be on a Big Ten roster. There is nothing specific about punishments for this, but the Big Ten is attempting to pass this rule. The SEC believed to be working on something similar as well, though no official report out there as of yet.
We all saw the SEC delivered a strongly worded letter yesterday.
Yes.
About this very thing.
Yes, where no punishments were detailed. They were just like, hey, we should really pass this Protect College Sports Act. That's really going to strike fear in guys like Lane Kiffin, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, this does break the rule that I have, but all the rules are being broken now anyway, so what does it matter? Here's my question, though, guys. How even can you make a rule?
Great question.
You know, like if you're just going to get sued anyway, like how even can a rule even be punished if you break it?
Yeah. Well, I think so, and I'm piggybacking off of Ross Stellinger from Yahoo Sports and On3 contributor Wes. We follow Ross a lot, and he mentioned that because all the conferences are looking into conference-specific rules that bar, hey, you can't go recruit NFL players to your roster, right? Which seems to make sense. But we all know if that happens, the next step is, all right, let's say the SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, they all have these rules. Well, then the player who wants to go back is just going to, hey, by the way, conference, you are now a defendant in my latest lawsuit, right? Like, we all know that's coming. And so one of the things that Ross mentioned that I agree with is the workaround for the conferences would be, okay, you can do that, but the kind of stick for a school not to do that is if you take that player, even though the player has sued and he can actually do it, we're going to fine you. We're going to sanction you as a conference. You're a member of our conference. You have to play by our rules. If you do this, we are going to fine you. And so if that is possible, let's say that the SEC passes a rule and says, Lane, LSU, every other school, you can't do this, and they do it, then you hit them with a fine or whatever it may be because they're a member of your conference. And that would then, basically try to enforce that rule, and kind of keep all the court stuff out of it. Now, whether or not that'll work, I don't know for sure, but that does make sense. I think most people, like, it's a separate thing from players from the 2022 class who were not included, who were not grandfathered in. A guy like Ethan Johnson, like, that's one thing. I don't, some people may not like it, but it at least makes sense. Taking guys, taking Daquan Wright from the Cleveland Browns and have him out there running routes and practicing and having him hit the transfer portal somehow while he's in the NFL, it's kind of just like a bridge too far. I think most people are in agreement, like, come on, it's too much.
Yeah. Now, that being said, until there is a rule pass, until the SEC outlines a punishment, I don't see any problem with Lane Kiffin doing what he's doing because he's trying to get an advantage, right? And he said as much. We don't have time. Yeah. We don't have time to play the clip, but he basically said, hey, these guys are available. If I don't recruit them, somebody else is. I'm trying to win. I have connection with them, both being former players of mine at Ole Miss. I'm going to go out there and get them. And until the SEC puts its foot down and says, hey, you're not eligible for the postseason or something like that because of this, I'm going to go out there and do it. So it's basically balls in your court, Greg Sankey. Make a rule to prevent this from happening, or Lane Kiffin's kind of free to do what he wants.
Is Lane, though, not the king of the argument of, well, somebody else didn't do it, if I don't do it, somebody else will? Like, he is the king of that argument, I feel like.
It crops up with him more than anybody, I feel like.
And here's the thing, are you able to even enforce this rule retroactively now, or would it have to be moving forward? I think that's a conversation as well.
That is what will lead to a lawsuit at some point if they do decide to put their foot down on something. I don't know. Again, sorry we had to break your rule, Wes, but that was news this morning on the Big Ten taking a stance on it. It seems like we'll see what the SEC does and see if we know anything by tomorrow. That'll do it for the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Coming up next, halftime show. Beamer speaking at 1 o'clock here on your Tuesday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time. Like on Wash and Wax, you can get 3 Meguiar's products for just $20. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
When you're finally off the clock after a long day,